Hello, I am Jack, but from the future. The people you're about to watch are from the past. Basically, we spent about 3 hours creating characters for our friend Dean's TTRPG called Untold Destiny. It took a while, but please do stick around for the first few minutes, as I've taken the summary from the end and I've put it at the beginning. And then, if you want to stay for the next 3 hours to watch this video, you are most certainly welcome to. But please do leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment on the video, as it helps us in the algorithm. If you'd rather just watch us play the game and dive into the world that Dean has prepared for Veriax, the Brass Dragon, and myself, then just check the video description, as I've linked it there. This video is entirely optional, and I do understand that this is not for everyone. But some people might enjoy watching us roll dice and try and figure out how this system works. Okay, enjoy. Before we wrap up, though, let's quickly just sort of see where we're at, see what we've made. We'll go Brass, then Veriax, and then we'll end with me. So, Brass, what have you created?
I have created Barrick, the Wilderness Warrior, or the Wilderlands Warrior. He is a wall of hit points and a wall of stamina. He probably won't hit anything because my rolls are notoriously terrible, but he will stand there and he will take damage for as long as necessary. I've also got a bunch of survivability skills, like that ultimate fortitude or whatever it was called, where I can roll hit points whenever I go down to 0 HP and go back up using stamina. So basically, I plan on not dying.
Yeah.
Veriax?
Hi. I have made Corvus, the scout. So I'm trying to make him almost like a jack of all trades in terms of survivability and things. So he's very acrobatic, athletic. He's very good at hiding in shadows, moving out of sight. He can apply poisons to things. He can. He's got a bit of beast handling as well, because I mentioned when he's out pathfinding is what he does, and meets like some kind of ferocious beast, he can at least subdue it without coming to blows, which might come for a be a bit more beneficial. But yeah, he's very good at remaining hidden. He's not a people person at all, but he should be handy in a scrap as well with his bow and his ability to dodge and avoid damage. But he's a tough old son of a gun as well, and he's a bit of a healer. So he spent a lot of time on his own in the wilderness, so his skills kind of reflect that.
I myself have created Endurian Starstone, a descendant of a creed of diamond folk that has since left the ways of faith and began to delve deeply into the aspects of the ether, and has locked himself away in his room for many, many years, only to emerge blinking, pallid, and sickly, as he has done nothing but read books and mess with herbs for many, many years.
Doing that,
we might be very similar. If I'm a wilderness wanderer,
well, we can have a bit of a kinship then, and then just ditch Jack.
He is the elf, after all.
Yeah, he's the elf, isn't he? Probably going to be whining a lot about it's cold, it's damp. I don't want. Where's my bed?
And we do have to protect him with his 11 constitution.
Yeah.
Okay, we are here. We are going to create characters for Untold Destiny, which is Dean's in-production tabletop game. We have no idea what we're doing. We've had the faintest of skims, or at least I have. What about you two?
I've already got my class and race decided.
You've cheated.
Yeah, I've read a bit.
Dwarf Fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the class dunce for this one, Dean. As I say, I've skimmed twice, and that's about it. But you assure me this is easy.
Oh, this will be straightforward. The longest part will just be sifting through all the options you've got when creating your character.
All right. So first things first, Brass, you've gone straight for the Dwarven Fighter archetype.
Of course.
Veriax, what kind of character are you wanting? And I'll just take whichever
I was
Pokemon is
going
left
to do the
over.
same because I've like I said, the fighter was gone. We're going to go basically fighter, rogue, mage.
Mhm.
So I am Deem on Discord. 2 characters that I was looking at, which is a rogue and a mage,
Mhm.
and I don't mind playing either. They're both kind of appealing. So I've got like stuff
Do you want to
prepped for either. So
do you want to assign each of them like a value and then roll a dice?
okay, I'll do that.
Hold on, before you do, let me get on to Roll20 here.
That's a good idea.
I don't know. Roll, assign evens and odds, and roll yourself a D4.
Okay. Right. So let's see. So evens will be the mage, odds will be the rogue.
They are. You are the rogue, and I shall
Okay.
take the wizard.
I noticed the poor priest didn't get a look in.
No one wants to be a Hillbot.
Yeah, who's gonna heal us?
Well, the good news is
get hit.
there is no healing magics to talk of. So
Heresy.
Oh, that's all right.
you
Then.
don't need a heal bot to come along with you, but the healing skill would be invaluable.
Perhaps something to consider.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So where do we go from here then?
Right. Well, shall we nail down the kind of classes? Because you've both chosen Veriax, you're looking at Rogue, Jack, you're looking at Mage. There's classes within those. Now, I've already filled in a couple of classes across levels 1 to 5. The actual full document has levels 1 to 20. So on the Rogue side, Veriax, I've got
Scout.
already in the condensed rules. Bard, Thief, and Scout.
Yeah, I've gone for scout. Yeah.
Scout. And on the Mage, I've got all 4 of our base wizards, which is the Abjurer, Enchanter, Invoker, and Summoner. So which takes your fancy, Jack?
If I don't usually go for like the Invoker, so I feel like I should. I feel like that would be a good bit of basic bitch wizard.
Fantastic. Yeah. Very good. Right. And I think the first step we should do is roll attributes. So you got an idea of the kind of stats you're dealing with, and then it'll be step by step. Do you want me to explain the character sheet quickly? I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. Yeah. Okay, so if I pop up, so the ping should hopefully have come through. Yeah. So like all character sheets, your name, your character's name, details on what class you're playing. And then as you create your character, you'll choose a heritage, which is it's the culture that best represents your character, the culture that has rubbed off. So it could be where your family's from, where you're from. It could be a place you visited that's had a great impact on you. But it's effectively, think of it like when you talk to someone and there's that accent and you go, you're from the Midlands. It's that heritage. Your family, who are they? What station do they have within society? Your background, what have you been doing before you became an adventurer? And then, of course, your class. Race, any special visions. Legend is a special reward system for doing heroic deeds. You get awarded legend. You can spend legend on special abilities. And fate points are used to reroll bad results. The system can be quite unforgiving. So I introduce fate points as a means of you controlling the fates. You're playing paragons, people who are close to ascension. Your spirits have been reborn enough times that you're now becoming slightly aware of the circle of life. And it means you've risen above the normal person. So you got the ability to twist fate slightly in your favor. And that's
so sort of closer to Nirvana than most.
Yes, hence the legend system. If you were evil people there and you were getting close to ascension, you would be having a sense of dread and fear of judgment unless you were truly evil, in which case you'd be having a sense of being able to carry on your malice from beyond the grave when you ascend.
Ooh.
And this is where things like demons come from, where angels come from. Those who live in harmony with nature become one with nature when they ascend. So this is where your nature spirits come from. Okay, so top part of the character sheet, very self-explanatory. Your attributes, I'll just ping. The tagline of Untold Destiny is classic roleplay. So where I don't need to really change or reinvent the wheel, I'm happy to take it forward. So your attributes, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So nothing unusual there. The values go from 3 up to sort of 20, 22 at the top end. And the bonuses are the same as you would find in something like 3.5 Pathfinder or 5e. Your hit points, an indication of how much punishment you can take with it not being considered lethal or potentially lethal. The moment you run out of hit points, you're in danger. So you want to try and keep them above 0. Your stamina is used for fueling of combat abilities, exerting your energy in a way of like breaking free of something or running and then making a jump, as well as meta magic. So if you're a spellcaster, being able to twist your magic and make it do something special. And then for those who can cast spells, of which there's only one of you, spell points. Each spell costs 1 spell point. Nice and simple. The thing to bear in mind here is these resources all come back at the end of a combat encounter. So you get all your spell points back, all your stamina, all your hit points. They are a measure of how ready you are to face the dangers that you have in that combat encounter. So because of this, there's a number of changes that have been made to the way spells work, things like focus, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But it also means, and you got a nice box here called recovery. And across the other side, you got recovery dice indicating what happens when you do a recovery. So a recovery test check is an action you can make in combat. You roll a dice. So Brass, your Wilderland warrior will be rolling a d12.
Okay.
A d10. I do apologize. You can upgrade that to a d12. You recover those many hit points plus your level. So it'll be a d10 plus 1. And you recover that much stamina as well. So you give up your action in combat to recover a bit of your energy and a bit of your durability.
Oh, like a 4e healing surge.
Yeah, but there's no limit on it. You can do it whenever you want. And this is why at the end of a combat, you spend a minute, you catch your breath, you're ready for the next combat encounter. It makes balancing and resource management so much easier. Spell points, there's an action called center. And if you center yourself, you gain 1 spell point back. So if ever you run out of spell points, you can get them back, but it's a slower process. Again, there's ways to speed that up. So we've covered recovery, and below recovery, you've got the dreaded wounds. So whenever you get to 0 hit points and you take damage, you need to make a saving throw called a system shock saving throw based on your constitution. If you fail that saving throw, you tick the first box, and then the second, the third, and so forth, until eventually you tick the 5th box if you continue to constantly take damage. These are wounds. Your hit points are no longer protecting you. You can't roll with the blow. You can't just take a grazing hit. When the attack hits, it hits hard. And the moment you tick that 5th box, your character's dead. That's it. Hand over your character sheet. We don't have raised deads or anything like that. So you want to keep your hit points above 0 or get lucky on your system shock rolls to make sure you don't have wounds. Wounds do not disappear at the end of an encounter. And every day of rest you have, you got a chance of removing 1 wound.
Only a chance.
That's based on your system shock recovery and if people are using healing kits with healing skill to try and accelerate that process. So we had in Business Unusual, someone had 4 boxes filled in, terrible encounter. They absolutely got pounded, close to death. Very, very good filming session, but it took them 10 days to recover from a near death. So that's the kind of recovery you've got within the game. But timing wise, travel takes a long time. So the measure of time isn't fast and furious. It's slow and measured. and you typically have time to consider things. Your traveling takes weeks and so forth. So recovery is part of the system. So if we go back up to the top, your saving throws are measured here, of which you've got primary and secondary saving throws. Your primary saving throws sounds a little bit confusing, but if you plug the numbers in, it all makes perfect sense and it works really well. You've got a bonus to your primary saving throw based on a attribute. So reflex is based on your dexterity bonus modifier, physical is constitution, reason is intelligence, insight is wisdom, and spirit is charisma. So whatever your modifiers are, they go in there. And then your race and your class will give you your primary bonus. So humans get +3 across the board. And then if you go a class, that gives you +4 versus gaze, your gaze would be +7 bonus. So this is now where I can come to the core mechanic of Untold Destiny. All skills and all saving throws work in the same way. You roll a d20, sometimes more. You add a number to it, and if you get 20 or higher, well done, you've succeeded. If you don't, you failed. It's nice and simple. There's a boon and bane system, which we'll come to in a minute, which adjusts for difficulty up and down. And the only other exception is opposed rolls. So if you're doing something, someone's opposing your roll, you're then comparing numbers to each other. Okay, so if you get hit by a fireball, I will ask for a reflex breath saving throw. Take your reflex bonus, add your breath, roll a d20, add them all together. Did you get 20 or higher?
All right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's slick. Yeah.
Otherwise, you fail. This way, a fireball is reflex breath. A poison cloud would be physical breath. Say there is a confusing cloud from some creature with spores that affect the mind. That could be an insight or reason breath saving throw. A death cloud from a powerful and living could be a spirit breath. So this allows saving throws to actually be, and again, borrowed this from 2nd edition because I love the way their saving throws worked against the type of attack, but they always messed up what bonus you got from your attributes. And I like the idea of your attributes really affecting your saving throws. So I put the two together to come up with this.
That's good.
Okay, your secondary saving throws, they're pretty important. Raw strength based purely on your strength. And when you make feats of strength, so you've just been wrapped in webs and you want to break free, you could make a raw strength saving throw. If you succeed, roll a d20, add your raw strength, 20 or higher. Voila, you've now broken free and off you go. If you're about to be knocked prone, raw strength is typically the saving throw that you always have to make. So being really strong means you're steady on your feet, more resilient, and more able to bash doors down and stuff like that. System shock is based purely on your constitution, and this is a vital saving throw for survival. So it's for resisting wounds. If you are a higher level wizard with access to things like polymorph, each time you polymorph yourself, your body goes through an incredible shock, and you've got to make a system shock saving throw or you're stunned until you pass. So polymorphing can put a lot of strain on the body. There's a lot of other instances where system shock saving throw will come. Awareness is based on your wisdom, and it is the catch-all for you're about to be surprised, roll an awareness saving throw.
So this is like your perception check, sort of.
It's like your perception, but I never. It's passively, how aware are you? You can't always be alert. You can't always be aware. So when something catches you by surprise, are you actually caught surprised? If in the middle of a combat encounter you've got an opponent who's hidden and they leap out and stab at you, you can make an awareness saving throw to deprive them of their bonus. So you instantly, at the last minute, become aware of what they're doing. They no longer get a boon to their attack. So that's where the saving throw comes in. Reflex bonus, that's where if you've got a shield, shields add to your reflex bonus, and it's recorded there just in case you swap the shields in and out. Yeah.
I like that.
Excellent. I think you're going to like shields because they've been changed. The one thing you will note that is not on this character sheet up at the top, which is typically on other D20 based systems, is there is no armor class.
I was about to ask that.
Ah, good.
I've got a slight bit of echo from somewhere. I think it might. Hello.
Hello.
And now it's gone. Okay.
Brilliant.
Carry on.
We used to have armor class because, again, I based this all on my classic upbringing of role-playing, the stuff I really loved. And we introduced a parry and dodge mechanic. So when you're hit, you could potentially parry the attack. If you've only got a melee weapon, you can only parry another melee weapon. Shields can parry melee weapons and missile weapons. And then dodging can dodge any attack, including spell-based attacks. And we had armor class on top. And I introduced this kind of check where someone's rolling their attack and then they're going, oh, have I hit the armor class first before then going on an opposed check. So when we streamlined the skills, I got rid of armor class. It wasn't needed anymore. So in combat, you'll make an attack test based on your weapon skill, plus any bonuses that you might have from other places. And if you get 20 or higher, you've hit the opponent. The opponent now can react to you to say, okay, am I going to brace against it because I just can't get a high enough defense? Or am I going to try and parry it? Am I going to try and dodge it? And it's a quick back and forth. It doesn't take long to do. And it keeps the combat quite dynamic because there's a lot of other stuff that then fires off those kind of actions. So your defenses are going to be things like your dodge, your parry, which changes. Shields have a big parry bonus as part of them. The smaller the shield, the bigger the parry bonus, but the less the reflex bonus. The larger the shield, the less the parry bonus, unless you're being attacked with missile weapons. And then the bigger the reflex bonus. So shields have this kind of thematic feel to them. And rogues typically might have a small shield just in case they need to parry or rely heavily on
buckler
dex and dodge.
A little buckler.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, armor gives you your resistances to physical damage. So you wearing in plate armor, you take 10 points of damage, 4 points will probably go through, depending on what it is. Obviously, plate armor, if it's blunt or slashing, you're going to be better protected. Piercing, not so much, not in plate armor. And then the final value you've got here that you get from armor is brace. And this is if you can't dodge or parry and you're heavily armored, why not brace? So what you do is you go into a braced position, you bring your arm around to protect yourself. If you make an armor check, which is just your armor skill, get 20 or higher, you get to add your brace to the damage that's coming in. Or if it's blunt, piercing, or slashing damage, you get to increase that by 2. This is your way of a warrior going, I can't dodge spells, but you know what? When that fire orb's coming in, I'm going to brace against it. I'm going to bring my arm around. Hopefully most of it will go deflecting off to one side. Okay, so that's pretty much the top. You got your initiative, dodge, and your movement. You then got your list of skills. So there are 3 groupings of skills, which are general, rogue, and combat. General and combat, everybody has access to. And there are 5 ranks within each skill, which are proficient, specialized, expert, master, and grand master. So at the bottom of the character sheet, nice little indication, what bonus do you get with the rank? If you're wielding a weapon as part of that, so your weapon skills come under that, what increased damage do you get? And this is the big part of this system. The moment you become proficient in a skill, you roll 2d20, pick the highest. If you become mastered in a skill, you roll 3d20, pick the highest. So why don't I grandmaster in everything? Because you can only grandmaster in 1 skill and 1 combat skill. So you have to choose. Now, there are ways to break that rule. The Master at Arms can, in theory, grandmaster every combat skill. And if you go a gnome, gnomes get to grandmaster 1 additional skill. Mathor, who are built for combat, get to grandmaster 1 additional combat skill. So there are ways to get around it, and certain classes allow you to break those rules. But generally, if you can use any skill apart from rogue skills, even if you're not trained, but you're rolling 1 dice and relying solely on luck. The moment you're trained, you've got your 2 dice, so less chance of fumbling, rolling 1s, more chance of critting, rolling your 20s, more chance of getting a nice, decent average. And so far in playtesting, that has worked incredibly well. Yeah. So your skills, as you create your character, you will note that things give you training. So for example, you might pick a background option and it says receive 2 ranks of training in survival. And all you do is you tick the 2 boxes in survival. And that just indicates it's going up. And then once you've finished your character creation, just pop back, count all the values, put the numbers there. They will not change unless your attribute goes up, which is only once every 4 levels, and will not change unless you receive further training. So pretty much once all the maths is sorted out at character creation, it remains fairly static going forward. Rogue skills are a slightly different affair in that you cannot train in rogue skills unless a character creation option has given you that training. Effectively, you're tapping into Shadow Aether to use these rogue abilities. They're kind of supernatural. So if you don't go a class, like one of the rogue classes, or the ranger, for example, has access to rogue skills, you cannot use rogue skills. So if you've got no access to them, you pretty much ignore them. If you've got access to them with a class that also gives you training as you go up, you can develop them. If you've got access to them through your background options, but you're not a class that gives you additional training, A, you can't grandmaster any of them, and B, you're going to have to spend your precious bonus features on training further in those skills. But rogue skills, for example, you've got scale surface. You're facing a cliff. Someone gets with athletics, gets the climbing kit out, is spending money. You're piling up your pittance. You're putting ropes up. It's taking time. Someone with scale surface can instead do exactly the same job, but faster. So this is where rogue skills will overlap with general skills, but they can be done better. The one couple of rogue skills that are worth talking about now, just in case it affects how you create your character. Uncanny senses is before you trigger a trap, you get to make an uncanny senses roll. And if you succeed at that roll, you kind of stop. The hairs on your back of your neck go up. You know something's wrong. And it might not just be a trap. It's when you're being put in danger.
Yeah. So
It also,
okay.
Yeah, it's your spider senses.
Yeah.
It also, so long as you've got at least 1 box in uncanny senses, your awareness saving throw can work against people who are invisible to you. Whereas normally it's only people who are hidden to you. And invisibility, if you look at hidden shadows, rogues can become invisible. If they succeed at a hidden shadows roll, they effectively gain an invisibility condition. They fade from sight. So rogues, I wanted rogues to be good. I wanted them to be quite unique, and I wanted them to have a great set of skills. That meant if you're playing a rogue, yeah, you've got some nice toys to play with.
Sounds fun.
Okay. The other one, just to mention there, tracking. Tracking works. I've drawn inspiration from Lord of the Rings, Aragorn's tracking when he's looking where what's happened to the halflings. Tracking works similar to that. You're looking at all the evidence and then you're building a scene in your mind. So you're conjuring the kind of image of what passed through, what did they look like, even allowing you to identify the creatures that went through based on the evidence around you. So tracking is a very powerful ability. If you haven't got tracking, you can still use investigation to find tracks, but you're going to get far less information back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any questions at that point?
I have a feeling you're going to be very squishy, Veriax.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
You get seen, it's like bang, you're gone.
I might get mega rolls. You never know.
The damage can be quite aggressive if you're caught flat-footed, or you run out of stamina, or you just cannot physically take the damage. If the dice are against you, a character without the resistances will 2, 3, maybe 4 hits, depending on what you're up against, and you could be looking at dropping to 0 hit points and then potentially suffering wounds. Yeah. So tactically, you've got to really think as a group. You've got to support each other. The game is unforgiving, but at the same time, it's incredibly rewarding when you pull off the perfect execution of a combat. You work together. You take down opponents before they can even react, and so it works both ways. So you've got an area for your weapons, area for your spells. We've talked briefly about focus spells. So because, of course, infinite spell points means infinite spells. If a spell has a duration, like a buffing spell, it's got focus instead. So, for example, the Bless spell, it's a divine spell. It gives you 1 extra stamina at the start of your turn and allows you to spend stamina to add a dice to your primary saving throw if you need it. That's a focus spell. The moment you cast it, you say, yeah, I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to keep it running. And you can focus on a number of spells equal to your casting attribute modifier or bonus. And that is, for you, Jack, would be intelligence.
My primary stat IRL as well, yes.
Yes. And then there's some boxes for your abilities and stuff to go in there. Bonus features, that's an important part. You all start with at least 4 bonus features. Some of you might start with more, depending on race and class. Bonus features are what make your character even more unique than they already are. So I've tried to avoid what's called the classic feat tax in bonus features. So bonus features typically add the ability to do things, but aren't necessary for doing those things. So, for example, if the closest we kind of get to that is if you want to dual wield, you want to wield 2 weapons, there is a bonus feature called dual wielding. It allows you to do it without penalty, but it's only that one bonus feature. That's it. But then there's a load of other bonus features that come off that to allow you to parry better when you're dual wielding. There's a bonus feature to allow you to cleave, hit 2 opponents, or whirlwind, hit all the opponents.
Is this like a tech tree
where
where you take a feature and that unlocks more options for different features? Or
no, there are some, but I try to keep that to a minimum, because otherwise you're then trying to think, oh, hang on, if I haven't taken this and I want that. There's a couple where it made sense, but the majority might require you a skill to be a certain level. So there's one called Roll With It, where if you successfully dodge, you can immediately move up to 20 feet without provoking any opportunity attacks. So this is great. I'm playing a rogue. Dodge is going to be my primary form of defense. I'm being charged down by an orc. I'm in trouble, but I make the dodge. I'm now getting out of dodge, as it were. And I'm activating that, spending stamina, and I'm retreating fast behind my front line. So there's a lot of bonus features that do lots of interesting things. And this is really where the uniqueness, especially when you come to combat encounters, comes from. And finding bonus features that work with each other. So, for example, Taunting Strike is a great one. I'm next to my friend. He's being attacked, and we're both in melee with this creature. I'm not being attacked, so I can Taunting Strike the creature. So I roll an attack test, and so long as I succeed, the creature can't defend itself. It's too focused on my mate. So I get to deal damage to it. Riposte is another great one. I successfully parry an attack. I can now deal my main hand damage back. So there's lots of these bonus features that allow you to really customize, define your class further, including others that increase your class's abilities. So if you were playing a paladin, there's one that allows your summoned mount to be even more powerful than it is. So this is what, when it comes to choice, there is a lot of choice here, and each decision you make when creating your character from your heritage, family, background, they all add abilities that shape the character and make a difference to what you can do in the game. So the last page of the character sheet, your equipment sheet, nice and simple. We use encumbrance, but the encumbrance is nice and easy. You only track the big items. And your encumbrance is based on your strength. If your strength is 10, you can carry up to 10 encumbrance before you become heavily loaded, 20 before you're overloaded. And it works just really well.
Okay.
So there we go. Any questions on that before we start rolling stats?
No, I think it's good.
No, I think it's all good.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my bugbears about D&D, it might have been how the GM was running it, but I just felt that I was never going to die. Because
should keep playing my campaign.
Yeah, maybe it was, but yeah, I really like our system that basically when you said 3 or 4 hits and you got to go down, that makes sense because you will in real life. So
it's just a flesh wound
hit sort of thing. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's really good so far. But no questions.
It comes down, if you're in the wrong place when hits come in, you can suffer. The Business Unusual group, they recently swapped out some characters, lost their front line, 2 rogues, a mage and an inquisitor. And they're squishy as anything, but their plan is we're going to kill things before they can kill us. And it
Best
kind
form
of
of
works,
defense,
but when it
yeah.
doesn't,
Good offense.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Right. Let's roll some attributes. But as we're doing this lovely demonstration, and as it's only 3 of you, do you want to try the high fantasy method of rolling attributes?
What is the difference between that and what would usually happen?
So normally you would roll 4d6, you drop the lowest, and you roll that
Quite
6
standard.
times. Yep, pretty standard. If you do not have 3 14s or higher, you can scrap them and roll again. The moment you get 3 14s or higher, you keep that array.
Okay.
It can lead to some interesting situations where you got like an 18, a 17, a 16, but one of the low results is a 5, and you now have this low attribute you got to put somewhere. The high fantasy rolls 5d6, dropping the 2 lowest, repeat 6 times, and you need 4 14s or higher. And it's designed for a really high fantasy.
You're worried that we're going to die. Yeah.
He doesn't have much faith in us.
Personally, I'm happy if you want to try the standard method. I think you end up with a great character either way, but I'm also giving you the option if you feel like it to go the high fantasy.
Well,
and have hopefully slightly tougher
we're trying out a new system, so I think we might as well go for the high fantasy because it's different.
I want to do the other one.
You want to be gritty.
Yeah, because I think that a
Oh.
character's most interesting thing is their weaknesses type of thing. So it leaves Jack to decide as well.
I've got a
Yeah,
better
there we
idea.
Oh
It
god.
does.
Whoever rolls higher on a d20 decides.
All right.
It all comes down
Cop
to this.
out.
Do we die
Absolutely.
horribly?
Listen,
Absolute
my
cop
rolls
out.
are notoriously shit.
Oh, there you go. You rolled a 5. And there's an 18. That's for being killed easily, guys.
Okay, so we're doing the standard roll method.
Sorry,
I have
everyone.
a
We're
macro.
wiping the party already. Apologies.
It's always the damn rogue.
I'm already causing chaos.
Right, you should all be able to see and add your macros if you want to.
Macros.
And there are a number. I've got them on here. I noticed, Jack, you're not. I can't see them on your screen.
I see nothing.
So if you click on the macro button,
Where is
that one there.
this? Holy crap.
Yep.
All
If you
my
click-
hours in Roll20, I've never clicked this button.
So if you click on all of them,
Yep.
and if you all do that, it appears on your bar at the
Right.
bottom.
Yeah,
Oh,
I knew that
sweet.
either.
Nice.
Right, and I'll quickly take you through because it gives me a chance to talk about something I did forget, which is if you click on the roll 1d20 button, so all the roll d20s do this. It'll ask for your modifier to the roll. It'll then ask if you got a boon or a bane. So when I used to use difficulty numbers, challenge numbers, target numbers, stuff like that. And one of the problems I had when running a game is the decision paralysis, which is someone's asking how easy is it to do something, and I'm now trying to think of a number. Is it a 15? Is it a 10? Oh, what if it's 20? What if it's 22? So the boon and bane system was always baked in from the start, and we extended it now to include pretty much everything. Normally you do standard rolling, so you don't have a boon or a bane. If something's easy, you'll have a boon. If it's very easy, you'll have a greater boon. A boon adds a d6 to your result. A greater boon adds a d10 to your result. If it's a really hard task, it's a bane. If it's incredibly hard, it's a greater bane. And that's a d6 taken away, d10
And
taken
again,
away.
the target is always 20.
Target is always 20. So what I will do when you're looking to use a skill, I will do 2 checks. 1, how easy is it? And 2, are there any situations, circumstances that are making it more difficult or easier for you? So for example, you're going, I want to ride a horse, but I'm not looking to trot or gallop. That's very easy. You get a greater boon. However, the weather's absolutely torrential. There's massive winds. You get a greater bane. The 2 cancel out. You roll normal. So I'll turn around and say, make a riding roll or beast handling check. You may then turn around and go, oh, I've got this ability, gives me a boon. I've now got a boon on my check. So I will go through 2 checks. How easy? Are there any situations? And that allows me to pick the boons and banes associated with both. They kind of cancel out with each other. So if I got a greater boon and there's a bane, you get a boon. If you got 2 boon and a bane, they cancel out. And then if you've got any bonuses, you can then apply it to that. And that takes the maths out of how difficult is it to do something. And all the skills pretty much.
So you've got a really, considering how deep all of this is, like you've got your parry, your dodge, you've got your different defenses. The simplicity you've managed, or that looks like you've managed to achieve, having not played it yet, is really, really impressive.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I have been running. Oh, thank you. I have been running this solidly for, probably 18 months now, in this form, with refinement after refinement. If there's something I felt was not working, I hated running it as a GM, then it had to go. It had to change. If I felt players hated it, it had to go. If it felt unnecessary, it had to go. And this is kind of what we've ended up with. It's a deep system, but the mechanics are actually really easy. And the depth of the system is in all the options you have available to you, but they all follow the same method. However, enough about me talking about it. You've got to experience it.
Right.
Okay.
So your macros, pretty much rolling d20s, whether you're rolling 1, 2, 3, or 4. Roll initiative, just click on your token and then roll initiative, and it will put it in the
Brass. Brass is not just us.
I know.
They fixed it and unfixed it so many times.
Yeah. Roll damage. So this is another. If you click on roll damage, you'll be asked what your reroll value is. So you'll note that weapons, you're not going to have a plus to damage. Okay, strength doesn't add to melee weapons. Dex doesn't add to ranged weapons. But what they do is they give you a reroll value. And the reroll value is if I roll that number or lower, I'll roll again until I get that. Until I get
do
higher.
a minimum amount of damage.
So, yeah, pretty much. But it doesn't set your minimum. You just keep re-rolling until you get higher. So if I've only got a strength of +2 and I'm not very well trained, I've got to re-roll a 1. So if I roll a 1 on my damage dice, which is made up of my weapon and my proficiency, I can roll it again. If I'm strength of +4, I'm well trained, my re-roll's 3. So any 1, 2s, and 3s, I just pick up and re-roll, or roll 20 will do that.
So the value is determined by. So if you've got a strength of 4.
I'm very sorry, guys.
What did you just do?
I think that enemy's dead.
I'm ever so sorry. Look, all that, I rolled a 16,
mist.
okay?
So if you're, for every +2 you have in the appropriate attributes, so strength for weapons,
You get
dexterity, so it's set by your skill.
+1 for
pretty
every
much on
2
the weapon.
points.
You get +1. You get 1 reroll for every 2 points going up, and then if you have a look at your proficiency, when you get mastered, you increase your damage reroll by 1.
Okay, I see. That all sorts
So
together
it's a
quite
lovely
nice.
way of scaling up the damage. Yeah, and it prevents this. I'm rolling a d8, but I got +23 Hammer of Moradin. And I really hated that. So that's your damage roll, and then you get to put in the dice that you're rolling. So how many d6s, d8s? You will note there are no
Look at them all.
d4s. I really hate d4s, so I got rid of them.
How many did you tread on as a child?
I know it was
How
terrible.
many
Filling
d6
them
did
out
you
on the floor
roll?
I don't even know. I only put 2.
Is that 10 to the power of 10 d6?
I guess it did, yeah.
All right, there's some kinks we'll have to work out in how we use the system. So,
right, and morale damage when we go into combat, I can go through that, but effectively my creatures have a stamina pool. So where you've all got individual stamina, I just add all my creatures' stamina together. And when that drops to 0, their morale's broken and they'll decide to bug out. Whenever you kill an enemy, you roll morale damage and reduce their stamina pool by the result. So the more creatures you kill, the faster you break them up.
There is actually tactics to this, not just in terms of taking things out of a turn economy, but if we can do enough damage quickly enough, we can just cause them to break and run.
Yeah, if you take out a lot of the weaker enemies, you deprive the stronger ones of their force and their energy. It also means you might get frustrated that your opponent is constantly parrying and dodging, but every time they do that, they're burning stamina from their pool.
Oh yeah.
So you're still wearing them down. You're still winning, even if you're not doing damage. The worst result you could get is not rolling 20 or higher when you make an attack test, and that's just you've lunged in. Your opponent hasn't even noticed you. You've just fluffed the
you slip
attack.
On the grass.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. One thing that the system has is critical fumbles. Bad things happen on a critical fumble. It also has critical successes. Good things happen on a critical success.
Okay.
And I can do that, whereas I would never do it with 5th Ed, because if you're very well trained on a weapon, you're rolling 3d20. If you're grandmastered, what's the chance of getting all ones on 3d20?
Quite low, but I wouldn't put it above brass.
Oh, it's going to happen a few times.
Absolutely.
Look, I got 3 ones in a row there on the screen.
Okay. So who would like to roll their attributes first?
We'll go down the line. So we'll brass, me, Veriax.
Oh, I've just gone onto the chat log, and that's a lot of
exactly. We're back because we were little boys that had to visit the little boys' room, and now comes the moment of truth, the moment of destiny untold. And I say we'll go down the little line here. So Brass, you're up first.
Righto.
How terrible will your dwarf be? Ba-ding.
Absolute. Oh, actually, you know what? He's
11.
Yeah, you can re-roll.
That is. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any low rolls, but there wasn't really any good rolls.
Perfectly average in everything.
I put
there we are. That's better.
16, 15, 11.
Hang on,
no.
16, 15.
No, you can re-roll that.
Re-roll again. Before you do, let me just make a little break so you don't get confused as to.
Yeah, I was confusing myself. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see.
14. Yeah. What is wrong with you?
Listen. This will be, we'll be doing this for a few hours, okay?
My fault. I should have.
If I was Max, I'd have taken it off.
For Christ's sake, man.
I mean, look, there's 2 14s in there and a 7.
Yeah, that's.
Oh.
Right. Oh, it's a 17.
He's done it. He's done it.
Yeah, that's good. Joke. That's a good roll. That's a very good roll.
Make a note of your rolls.
Yeah.
Right, hang on. Yep. Notepad.
And I'll make a little break for me. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll go ahead. So is this down the line, or can we assign these wherever we want?
You can assign them where you want to.
You're not truly hardcore.
12.
You can if you want to play like that. The sort of low fantasy version, 3d6. You accept what you get.
Right, I've written them all down.
You've written them all down.
I guess if you did that, you would roll stats and then decide what class you were.
Yeah, like in old AD&D. Roll 4d6. Here we go. Hot pink dice. Away. Oh God.
I reckon you should take that one. I think, yeah, let's. Yeah.
Oh,
that would be an interesting character.
Oh, that would be.
Where are we? So 12, 14, 16, 6, 13. Oh.
That is it.
No.
Is that it?
Yeah.
12, 14, 16, 6.
3 over 14. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I have not.
Sorry. Over 13.
Like you just tried to dupe me into having a weak character. 14, 13, 10. Good God. What is wrong with us?
Oh, God, that's worse.
I got a really good roll, but apparently it doesn't count.
We'll see how long you go for before we revert to that roll.
Oh,
is this set in the tone? Should we have done the high fantasy? Okay. 11, 15. What? 11, 15,
Yeah,
11,
that's him.
15, 7. Nice, nice, nice. Let me get my. So we have 14, 17, 15, 11, and 15, and 11. That's right, isn't it? I've not missed anything. 14,
As long as it's 6 numbers, then it should be fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it is. I have done it.
Okay.
So I will. Yeah, you got it.
Go on, Veriax.
Beat your last roll. 12. Nope.
No. I'm not happy. Oh, I should have put a break. All right, hang on.
It didn't work anyway, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You rolled the other ones technically off camera, so. Oh, God.
Shut up. Shut up. On big roll.
Ooh.
Oh, hello.
That's a really good one.
hello.
God character.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind re-rolling. That's fine.
Oh, good. Good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Fickle. That's what you are.
That's mega. Yeah. Again. Wow.
You've marked yourself for death with this character.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, where are the weaknesses?
I'm sorry.
I mean, he did roll a 13 as his lowest.
2
number.
13s.
Look, trade that 13 for
Give-
2.
Brilliant. All right.
Right, so the
Wow.
dice have decided your fates.
Indeed.
Okay.
So the next step, you've all got ideas of the kind of characters you'd like to play. So let's select your race.
Okay. I have never done any of this before, so I'm going to be incredibly imaginative and be a human.
Incredible.
Humans are good. Humans are very good. Right, there is one thing. So this is great for showing through your screen. If you have a look on player journals,
Yep.
Yes.
there are condensed rules on there.
Oh, aye.
Ooh, you've uploaded an entire PDF. I didn't know we could do that. I'm learning so much about this thing that I've used for years at this point.
I have this open in Acrobat, but yeah.
Yeah, and if you jump to page, it doesn't have page numbers, but if you jump to there, 15.
15.
That's the start of the races.
Nice. Oh, I could go elf, and I could. Actually, what were you going to be for your rogue, Veriax?
Ugh, human.
Human? I might go elf then, just so that I can do the elf dwarf memes.
Well, I'm a dwarf.
Also, humans became elves through the study of magic.
No, elves are from
Everything's
humans.
from humans.
Yeah, so that's
So
what I
every
mean.
race- yeah, every race originates from
Okay.
humans. So Untold Destiny started as a dream of probably about over 10 years, 15 years ago. And it was supposed to be a sci-fi version system. But with all the problems with wizards and stuff like that, I wanted a fantasy game I could play. So I kind of jumped straight to doing this as a fantasy, which is set after the sci-fi.
Ah.
So during the sci-fi, humans are forced to leave Earth. They find that it's the Arthur C. Clarke saying we are either the universe is teeming with life or we are alone. Both are equally terrifying. And it's the fact that we were actually alone. So we're having to go out into the world, terraform planets to make them useful.
It's kind of like Endless Legend.
And over the thousands and thousands of years, the race, humans who worked for the mining guilds and stuff like that, they began to genetically engineer themselves, becoming squat, more dwarf-like. And with their love of history and all things Earth, they got referred to as dwarves, and that kind of stuck. Elves were the ones who studied the aether, becoming completely changed by their study. So yeah, all the races were human, but over the course of thousands of years have genetically engineered themselves or mutated themselves away from you.
I guess I will be good. I will go elf because I like the idea they get another spell.
They do, and you can spend stamina to cast that spell. So if you're out of spell points,
I can like
still
use
cast.
my blood as fuel.
Yeah, pretty much. You use your energy, your very essence to fuel the magic. Okay, so feel free to start filling in your character sheet. I don't know whether you want to allocate your attributes now. Just make a note of the bonuses you've got. You'll note you've got a choice: intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 2, but you must reduce strength or constitution.
Right.
Or constitution.
Yeah, I've done mine.
So your
already.
choice.
I've reduced my charisma by 2, and I've increased my con by 2 as a
You
dwarf.
may increase either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 2. You must reduce strength or con by 2. I don't expect me to be up close smacking things with my stick. So I suppose this is what I can really do with another monitor. I'm going to put my... so intelligence, you say, is the most important thing for an elf, yes? So obviously...
For a
mage,
mage,
yes.
absolutely.
If I do 17
definitely.
so I've used my 17.
Can I? Because you know how I rolled really well. Because I can actually increase 1 by +2, right? Which is like insane.
Yeah.
Because I know I can I reduce 1?
However, humans have a maximum attribute of 18 across.
Yeah, I don't. Because I've assigned what I think I want, but I want to be an unlikable twat.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I do it so well. But so, and I've got charisma 13, which can I make that 9?
You could set your charisma to whatever you want, but charisma is your force of personality,
not necessarily,
and not how
I see what you mean.
You are. Yeah, so
It's your
just
spirit.
don't take any persuasion skills and skills that make you likable.
Okay,
You've got an incredible force of personality, so you can be incredibly unlikable.
I will be
with a high charisma.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that sheer, when you talk, no matter how you might be trying to be genuine, but your charisma just carries that sort of, that venom with you, your unlikability.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. You can.
Okay, but if you do want to drop your charisma, by all means,
now that I see what that means,
okay,
I'm happy with it. But I don't think I'll increase anything because it says he may increase an attribute. So
now,
your likability comes very much down to role playing. You can be incredibly charismatic, but the most unlikable person on the planet.
Yeah. I see.
A point of clarification: elf has no restriction on how high a stat can go.
Should have.
It's not 18. Where would I see this? Is what I mean.
So you've got on page 19 your racial maximum.
Righto. Yeah, elf. Right. Okay.
Yeah, the rules still are going through an editing process, so some of this will be jumbled around. And maximums will probably be brought to the front of races rather than at the back.
So I can increase my intelligence by 2, which I will do, to 19.
Yeah.
And I will decrease my strength to 9. Dump stat. I've only got 11 con, guys. I have... don't let me get hit.
So I've got 18.
I've got a feeling the rogue's just going to push me into the first trap he sees. But
I'm not sadistic. I'm just not very nice.
So 1 human, 1 elf, 1 dwarf.
How classic.
Looking pretty good.
Gaze, I get a +1.
So the adventure starts with you losing some halflings, and you have to find them.
Back of the couch or somewhere.
I thought I saw some feet sticking out of there. 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah, so if you put your saving throws in as well, you're going to add the bonuses from your class when you get to your class. But make a note under your, I think the middle box is race and class. Make a note of any bonuses you might get.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
I need to go back to the class in a minute. But first, I'm going to write down my bonus features. Will I be able to copy paste from here? Let's find out. Yeah, I can. And then I get a +2 bonus to my awareness saving throws. So do I include that up top, or do I just remember I've got it? Okay.
No, put it straight in because it's a permanent. You just put it straight into your awareness saving throw.
And then I can.
Yeah, the system's designed that a lot of stuff is permanent, and the more transitory stuff is either from items like pouring an oil or taking a flask, or it's applied via boons and
I see what you mean by bonuses to rogue skills from my race. So I use detect. First, that's 2, and uncanny senses 2. Right.
So all races done?
Not quite.
I think I am. Got my saving throws, got my skill bonuses.
Is that any sources? Resistance 2. Ether aptitude. Come on. Come on. There. I'll have to do a lot of chopping up here, I think.
Yeah. A lot of these, once they're in your character, so vision goes up top, so you don't need it in the main area. Your movement probably goes on your movement side. Your saving throws, you'll end up with actually not much under the description carrying across. Your Aether aptitude is probably the tricky one because you need to allocate that spell.
Yes, which I suppose we'll have to do when we sort of get to that point.
Absolutely. Don't worry about it right now.
Where
we'll do
is my class invoker?
Okay, so before you jump to your classes, the class is the very last thing we do.
Okie dokie. Right,
okay. So all the races done.
Yeah, I mean, what I've got is my attributes, class, race, vision, primary, saving throws, and bonus features. Is that where I should be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you made a note of everything you get from your race. We're jumping now to heritage, page 22.
Oop.
So the setting is Kaseya, and these are areas around Kaseya that have influence and culture.
Okay.
So it's very much a points of light setting in that settlements are built on the blood of the settlers and the pioneers. If they survive long enough, the wooden walls get replaced with stone. If they become peaceful and survive longer still, you might have glass windows and art and beauty beginning to appear in the spot because it's not being destroyed constantly. So this means you've got areas of intense culture and people, and outside of that, sprawling wilderness of dangers and unknown creatures and other horrors. So there's a lot here.
I could do a summary if you like. I mean, I've printed this out and highlighted important bits. So if you want to hear from like a player about what they pick up, and then it might work with the, as a summary for the others. So you've got Andaria first. Is that right? Is it in alphabetical on the? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's built at sort of the mouth of a river, on dwellings built on stilts. So it's a port city. There's frequent attacks from the creatures lurking within the waters, and it's a place for pioneers and explorers. So that's what I got from there. That about sum that up all right?
Yep, absolutely.
Harbour is like the capital, if you like. That was where the geothermal power station was 800 years ago. It's a thing that basically kept this place alive when things went to shit. And so
Yep.
it's a city that's governed. It's very safe in terms of there's not many attacks there. It's majestic and it's bathed in safety, but there's politics and business there, and so the danger there isn't so much like being attacked by orcs and things, but more like subterfuge and intrigue and that kind of thing. You've got the Colton Reaches, which is the mines. So when the Ashfall came, which was like the apocalypse, the mines became cut off. The dwarves there became fractured. 3 paragons brought the different tribes together as the guardians of the dwarves, and so those come from there. A dour temperament, paler skin. But that's basically the homeland of the dwarves, if you like. That's where they kind of like hid. They didn't hide, but they were isolated for a long time before 200 years ago. The races got.
Wait, which one was that one?
That was the Colton Reaches.
Colton Reaches. Okay.
You've got Lynchet, which oversees the defense and protection of the many villages around that area. It's just outside of Harbour, so it's again it's near a river, and sort of acts as a guide of the trade routes that go further afield. There are a few people who own their own homes here. It's more like people who work livestock and the fields. Without this area, there would be like complete starvation, because I think this is where like this is where the major agriculture is in the setting. But there are still dangers that lurk in the hills around, so there's still there'll be like bandit attacks and things like that going on in here. Midway, which is where my character is from, because it really appeals, right? It's a volcanic city built out of the onyx black rock as lava flows. It sounds really freaking cool.
It's Morrowind. You've chosen Morrowind.
This is my character's voice, by the way. There's constant fumes there.
It's like you've had years of smoking.
Basically, yes. No, it is that. It is that because basically people who visit there find the air noxious and toxic. If you've lived there for a while and generations there, have a level of resistance that's been granted. But if you visit there, you're not going to stay there long because you can barely breathe. But it's where rare metals are mined and forged, because obviously with the lava there, there's the heat for forging there as well. So that's where I'm from. Then you got the southern provinces, Ordovis. So that is where they were established by an elf, Kaelor Clearspring, and it's an intimidating fortress city that overlooks a lake. It's a bastion of safety against the orc tribes that live nearby. And there you've got access to the rare forest wood and exotic creatures that are in the forests kind of nearby. You've got Swanton, which is a home for hunters and woodsmen. It provides protection for the many scattered communities that are around that kind of area. So it's a bit like a Helm's Deep for them, if you like. That area focuses on the on rare meats, hides, leathers, and wood. It's very profitable, but it's quite a hostile area. So because of the deeping forest, it's full of resources, but it's also full of monstrosities and beasts that want to eat you. But it's the hunting ground of the shadow stalkers, and the home of roaming orc tribes. So it's a profitable area, sort of like a feast or famine type of thing. You can hunt things there, but you can equally be the hunted as well, I think.
I appreciate that the way this is set up encourages racism against the orcs.
It's yeah.
The orcs are in this game. They are brutal creatures.
Oh, that's the best
that
kind of
do
orc.
hate civilization.
And well, no, the best kind of
Yeah,
orc is a dead
they
orc.
I'm not going to ask you to tea then. And
Yeah.
I like some crumpets.
You
If
would
you're
be
deaf-
the dinner.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note orcs and Maethor share heritage with each other.
That makes sense. You said the Maethor are the sort of like the combat specialized race, aren't they?
They are. Before the Ashfall, so during the technological age, gnomes and Maethor worked very strongly together. They still do. Gnomes are quite intelligent, but they lack physical prowess. Maethor have incredible prowess, but they lack the physical presence, the intelligence presence. So the two work closely together, and it was the military guild that they pretty much controlled. And the orcs, before they were called orcs, were basically born clone armies hired out to either side to fight proxy wars. So on Kaseya, it is the orcs are effectively a batch of clones that escaped the Ashfall, allowed them to kind of break their programming, and then they grew from there into these huge tribes, constantly warring with each other, constantly warring with everything around them.
Could have a hobby, right?
So yeah. Anyway.
Okay, next on the list is again, if I get this wrong, sorry. Silnia Turva. Is that right?
Sylvia Turva. Yeah.
Okay. So this is where the gnomes and
Selena Turva.
Maethor originate. It's their homeland. So this is quite an interesting one. I quite like it because before, like, they were discovered by explorers, this was quite a stark area. It's a landscape of stark white with salt-encrusted monoliths everywhere, which made it quite difficult to live there, and still probably is. But the rest of the races didn't have access to salt. So as soon as they discovered this place, the salt actually became a benefit. So this place actually became like quite wealthy because they could trade salt, which helped with food preservation, alchemy, and that kind of stuff. So there's long trade caravans going to this area, alchemy, and so it actually became like a boon for them to be able to grow and prosper. Whereas but in isolation, the salt was a hindrance. So I quite like that. Was pretty nice. And finally, we have the Colton city states. So it's an island nation, has its capital off the coast of the mainland. It's spread out over the ocean to nearby islands. So it's an island. It's like an island nation, if you like, with many rare resources and spices. They maintain a neutral stance with their neighbors, preferring to trade rare resources and things like that. They rule the seas with Goliath Vakwenites, right? Big ships, big freaking ships.
big ships.
Yeah,
massive
boats.
Trading vessels. So they're the sailors, basically. They have a dark complexion, slight dialect, well-spoken and calm demeanors, but they do not like magic, since of a pirate called Enchanter Flex, who almost took down the city-states 200 years ago. So they are messing with this distrust with.
Sorry, what was that pirate's name?
Pirate Enchanter Flex with 2 X's. That's it.
Sorry. What was that the last one you say?
Yeah.
Did we do the
Colton.
kingdoms, the Lenosan?
Yeah, so there's a couple. These are the neighboring areas. So the city-states is one of those neighboring areas. You got the Harbour Protectorate itself, and then I've included the heritages of the neighbors. So one you were looking at, Grandarian, is the kingdoms of Grandaria, ruled by the Calatharan family for the past 500 years. That's one to the south. Resource rich, but again, predators, creatures making life hard. Local rulers provide defensive troops and sanctuary to their workers, so to expect a very feudal-based society. They follow the law of their kingdom to the letter. Even if the ruling is unfair, even if you've got to turn your family member in, they will do it for the betterment of their kingdom. Quite hairy down that way as well.
Which was the one that was founded by an elf, Mr. Clear Spring?
So that is the southern provinces that the elves decided to take as their own territories and create their own space. Even though they're still part of the Harbour Protectorate, they have claimed the land around there.
Stand for the mountain golems from the city, come looking more to add to their numbers. Yes, so I get to live in an elven kingdom and be racist to the greenskins. This is perfect for me.
Absolutely. Golems, it mentions golems in there from the which one? The Kia City ruins. Golems are an experiment gone wrong in trying to resurrect people. So think your Frankensteins and stuff, but far more hideous, far more horrific. So the golem plague, effectively the creators breaking the creations breaking free, they will drain the life from the world around them. So they effectively the ground becomes barren. They take every bit of life they can find. If it's useful, it's patched, it's kind of torn apart and stitched onto other new golems, and they keep creating new golems from their numbers. So one of the great golem creatures is this huge, and we're talking massive thing, lots of eyes, and it's kind of around it, lots of heads pasted on, many appendages, but then it picks other smaller golems off its back and throws them. So if it needs to
get like a Dark Souls boss.
their forces somewhere. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's this thing will come marching in and it will deploy an army effectively. So golems are a massive threat, and the elves keep that ruins under lockdown since losing one of their settlements nearby. And if golems are allowed to run riot, they will effectively destroy all life ahead of them. So you're looking southern provinces?
Yes, I'm just putting in my +2s now.
Fantastic. And Brass?
I am torn between the Colton Reaches, because that's the dwarven area, and Wanderer, because I'm a Wilderlands warrior, so I feel like it makes sense. The Colton Reaches, right? So I know it's dwarven, mining, industrial, all that sort of thing. Is there much of a wilderness in that area?
Yeah. It's the Colton Reaches are in this the Barrows Mountains. There's a huge pass in the Barrows Mountains, and that's where the Colton Reaches are. So the three tribes of dwarves that got isolated during the Ashfall, they were effectively miners in those regions. Had to resort to terrible things to stay alive, and then when they kind of got contact with each other, they fell warring against each other for resources, and that's where the three paragons rose up and broke in peace. And those paragons are now the guardians of the dwarves. So think of their gods. The wilderness, you're high up in the mountains. You've got underground wilderness, barren caves, stuff like that, as well as then above ground, you've got mountainous terrain. Your orcs are not too far from there. And you've got the great vast, unexplored vast, not too far again, which is this incredibly wild area that explorers have gone into. Not many people have returned, and those who do return never want to go back. Strange plants and all sorts reside there.
I reckon I'll do.
There's a lot of wilderness.
Colton Reaches, because it makes sense for my character to be wandering around the wilderness of that area, maybe hunting orcs, defending the lands. Who knows?
Absolutely. There we go. Okay, so you'll find with these bonuses, you get access to languages. Okay, most of you can read, write, and speak at least one language. Some of you, in fact, I think with all the backgrounds, you can all read, write, and speak. So that's fine. You get to choose some skills that you get a +2 bonus to. That +2 bonus is actually really powerful. So have a good think of the skills you're looking to add. Just write the skills into the heritage box, so you know what skills have those bonuses.
Right.
Finally, you'll have a special ability. So, for example, Jack, you
Arrow
are
flight.
The provinces. Yeah, +1 to attack tests with any projectile weapon.
I've just put that into my bonus features. Is that
It's not a bonus
Right.
feature. I'd put that into your heritage box.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, effectively, you got a projectile skill. The skill goes up by 1. I need to reword that to be +1 to your projectile skill.
So I'm going for quite. I'm a city slicker elf, really. I am not built for the wilds. So I have. I'm going to be complaining the whole way. But I am a dab hand with herbs and history and gathering information and things. And of course, Aether
very
Theory,
nice.
because I'm a bloody wizard.
You've got 2 skills that are important to a wizard. Aether Theory, obviously, and spellcraft.
Which I haven't had anything give me bonuses yet.
No. You'll get training from your class unless you pick something else that gives you that. But spellcraft is your skill. If you want to shape magic, make it do something that it's not intended to do within reason, spellcraft is your skill. If you're restrained and you got a semantic spell, you can use spellcraft to try and.
I've taken healing, by the way.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, that was a.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
If your character's really unlikable, are you just going to like deliberately withhold healing?
No,
in opportune times.
Well, no, I'm not. It's he's just not a people person.
I could save you, but I'm not really feeling it like it today.
I've got athletics, survival, endurance, and healing. I think I'm going to be like a tough old son of a gun, but a bit of a lone wolf that doesn't really trust people. You got to like earn it type thing, you know. But it's also a flaw because he'll probably get himself to a bit of bother doing that.
We might be very similar. If I'm a wilderness wanderer, like
well, we can have a bit of a kinship then, and then just ditch Jack.
He is the elf after all.
Yeah, he's the elf, isn't he? Probably going to be whining a lot about it's cold, it's damp. I don't want to. Where's my bed?
And we do have to protect him with his 11 constitution.
Yeah.
That 11 constitution means he's only got a +5 bonus to his system shock. So when he gets taken down to 0 hit points, and every time he takes damage, he will be having to roll a 15 or higher on a d20, or he takes.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
It is. That can stack up pretty fast. You get hit with a creature that's got like a bleed effect. You get reduced to 0. You then get bleeding at the start of your turn. That's two saving throws.
So just to be clear, we've done heritage or doing heritage now. We haven't gone to background or anything yet, have we?
No. We're moving on to family next. So it'll be
okay.
Yeah, who your family was or are, their station in society.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
The interesting thing with heritage is you may not actually come from your heritage. It may be your family came from there, and that heritage is strong.
Yeah, it makes sense because with Midway, might not have ever been there, but I've inherited the adaptation, and my parents had to live there. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apologies. I assume there's some usable stuff in there for me to go through later. But where were we? What were we doing?
Talking about you, not to you.
Okay, so I think the heritages are done.
Okay.
So let's decide who your family is.
What page?
So we're
26.
on page
26. Nice.
Okay, yeah.
So you can see immediately from this that we're using oldish terms like burger, cloistered.
Very good.
What was one of the other ones? Yeah. So it's a real indication of what rank in society your family are. And that gives you your inheritance. How much money do you start with? Along with, there are 2 options in each family. So you get to choose one of them. So for example, if we look at, if you just scrolled, cloistered has faith touched or religious focus. So you get to choose one or the other. Okay, so has anybody had a think about who their family are? Bearing in mind you've got everything from like merchants, clergy, commoners, penniless, manorial, so landowners, nomadic, you could be an orphan, no family at all, military, pioneers, so your family are mostly looking for rare resources and out in the wilds, renegades, so your family are, and renegade's an interesting one because when you start the game, you typically won't be tied, you won't be an evil character. Because the nature of the game is high fantasy, heroic fantasy. But you've got that baggage. You get some great benefits, but the renegade family means you've always got that family in the background, wondering where you are or what you've done or how did you escape their clutches. Settlers, they go out and settle places, seafaring. So there's a lot of options there.
I reckon nomadic for me.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely one.
I think cloistered.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go settlers.
Jack, was
I
that
think I'll go
cloistered?
cloistered. Yeah.
Yeah, you want that other spell?
Well, I was actually looking at the spell craft and also the healing.
Yeah.
Is there, and you said
So
healing.
you've got a divine version of the faith touched.
I'm just really magical. What can I say?
Absolutely, and that's 2 free spells before you start. One of them being a divine spell of your family's creeds. Of course, you'll need to decide what creed your family follows.
I'm now going to ask, in terms of religion, I guess we are all aiming at becoming ascended and become spirits.
Yeah, you are aware enough that you are potentially on the path to ascension, and ascension it's happened enough times that it's not, it's not common. Most people die before they reach that ascension. In the game, to ascend, you've got to reach 20th level, and you've got to have at least 100 legend behind you.
So it's kind of like a mixture of Highlander and of ancestor worship, in a sense. So you could have ancestors that have ascended and like they've achieved sainthood, in a sense. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way to think of it is, on one hand, it's why powerful families control their breeding. They want the same spirits.
Eugenics is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also means if you can call allies of your creed, and your family has a strong presence within that creed, you could actually call one of your ancestors down as the ally. And angels are people who've ascended that follow certain guardians. If you find a spirit of nature within the wilds, that could be someone who's ascended and is now at one with nature. So all the time, you've also got these
and they can help or hinder us, I suppose.
Absolutely. So the southern provinces are not liked by the harbour clergy because they worship a lot of the nature guardians. They found like Artemis in the wilds, and Artemis taught them the art of hunting and stuff like this. So there's a load of nature guardians. I've only got 2 in there currently.
Trade tongue just common, I take it.
Trade tongue is common. Yeah.
What language do you guys speak from your background?
I got trade tongue and I got Scortian from the heritage.
I got Jezku.
What in my part of the world? If I'm from the southern provinces, then Dean, which of those 2 languages would I more likely know?
Well, you got your own language, which is Synovian.
Because I get a +1 language from this family.
One is a dwarven language.
Mm-hmm.
So whether would you have learnt Dwarvish effectively? So the Colton Reaches, the Scortian is a dwarf tongue, and the other tongue is the tongue of the where was that? That was Midway. The other tongue is the human tongue.
Who's more common, dwarf or human?
Human,
I will
by far.
learn that one then. How are I spelling that? Veriax? That J.
JEZKU.
Perfect. Thank you. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, so Veriax, have you chosen a family as well?
Yeah, I'm going settlers.
Nice.
So I guess when it
Ultimate
says
training.
like you receive 2 ranks of training in, say, endurance, that means that I'll be specialized in endurance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've done that.
So you already know about the limits of only 1 Grand Mastery. If you ever receive training that would take you to Grand Mastery, but you don't want it, you don't lose the point. Yeah, it just gets added to your free proficiency points for that skill group, and you can spend it later on something else. The same applies for, so if you went military and then you went soldier, you get a load of training in arms and armor and shields. Any overflow there you get to keep and spend elsewhere. But generally, you're not going to get any overflow. Unless your class kind of ups you in an area you don't want. So Grand Mastery is the one. You can refuse to Grand Master a skill and keep that point back for another skill.
I really like this. Yeah, well, it's cool how you know I'm a rogue, which you think is squishy, but I'm able to be a rogue that's quite hardy, and you know, who's been there and sort of done that.
Rolling. You start money, your class, you add another 2D. Right, so I should put that.
Yeah, so don't roll that yet. We'll roll that after.
I was going to put that in my family box, inheritance.
Yes. If you just remember, your background will give you an earnings number, which will be similar to that, and then your class gives you some as well.
You receive 2 ranks of training.
So, Brass, you've done nomadic. Which of your special traits have you chosen? Is it nomadic life or out in the cold?
Out in the cold.
Out in the cold.
Get my extra resistances.
Yeah. That's nice. And it stacks with any others, so you get spells that add to it or magic. Brilliant. Really good. And Veriax, on settlers, what have you...
traversing the frontier.
Oh, nice. So extra hit point stamina and boon on all endurance.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
I want to be like a football son of a
that
gun,
boon, great. Yeah.
Or do I want to take religious focus? Do I want to go quantity or quality? I think
yeah.
Ooh.
Right. I will. You haven't looked at the class yet, but as an invoker,
I don't really concentrate.
If no, you can, but if a spell has abjuration, you can't use it.
Okay.
Invokers cannot
so
use
I am all
magics.
out attack.
All out attack. Abjurers can't use invocation magics. Enchanters can't use summoning, and summoners can't use enchanting.
Okay. So I will take the divine class.
Yeah, so you'll probably have enough focus for the spells you may have that require focus.
I'm going to be the one that slows combat down because I'm going to be looking at this smorgasbord of spells that I can use. Right. So you say I need to select a spirit or a creed?
Yes, so this is because you're looking at... Okay, so what I can do is I will mention some spheres of power, and if one of them sounds interesting, that'll determine which creed you are or your family is. And I'm just going to the nature ones. So we've got General Aether sphere. So that's just sort of your general spells everybody gets on the divine side. Diamond, earth, fire, water.
What is the fire like?
Fire is going to be very much fire magic.
Oh, of course.
So
Okay, yeah.
your fire.
What does diamond do then?
Yeah. So diamond is a brighter version of earth. So where earth is all about the earth magics and stuff, diamond is when that earth is powered with holy energy or pure energy. So it is very protective. If you want access to some buffing stuff, diamonds is
that sounds like there's going to be a lot of abjuration in there.
Well,
fire it is.
This is where you can get around the rule, because if it has got abjuration, you're fine. So your elf pick, I forgot to mention this actually, your elf pick, because it's inherent, it's part of you, and the cloistered pick, they can break the rule that you can't use abjuration.
So if I take diamond, I can also have the defense. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, do you want me to, just to quickly go through the others, the other one's got air, earth, rhyme, verdant.
I think diamond. I like the idea. I mean, I've set it up in, without really realizing to do so. So I will break the rule and I will take diamond.
Okay, and at the appropriate point, we'll have a look at it. But you've got a pick from things like Elemental Guard, Hold Portal, Iron Skin, Mending, Mental Guard, and Physical Guard. The guard spells typically prevent damage.
I'm going to put Creed Diamond at the top of my family.
Yeah. When we come to spells, you can then have a look at that. There we go. So I think everybody's done their family?
I believe so.
Yeah. And finally, what were you doing before you went on the life of an adventurer? So we're now moving on to backgrounds, and I'll let you know what page that is. And that's page 29.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I was a charlatan.
Yes. Now you'll note where you've got things like charlatan, it's always skewed towards the good side of being.
So we're heroes. Are you assuming we play the heroic characters?
I'm assuming you do, and the game assumes it's heroic. That's not to say that there won't be our first supplement, which is the Book of Villainy, and has villain points instead of legend, and a whole system around becoming the cruelest, meanest people, including as your wanted money goes up, how big a posse comes after you.
Mercenary, I think, looks good for me.
Sorry, which one was that?
Mercenary.
Mercenary, yes. That is good.
Oh, wow. I could take medic, and I've got this idea of he is a crazed magician medic, where he's just cauterizing wounds with his fire magic. I can restore life, but I can also take it away.
Stay the hell away from me, wizard.
So medic's an interesting one because the skill healing no longer counts against your grand mastery number. So this is an example of where your background choices and stuff can really allow you to grand master in more skills than you would normally.
Wait, I've changed my mind. Outlander.
I was going to suggest that, but I didn't want to backseat your character.
I looked at Mercenary. I saw it had like proficiency in armor and shields. I thought, well, I'm not using either of those things, so let's look for something else.
Protection? What's that?
My muscles are my armor.
You've made Stavrag.
Pathfinder also looks pretty good.
I'm a Pathfinder. Don't be a Pathfinder.
Oh, fine. I'll go Outlander.
Hands off Pathfinder. That's fine.
You know what? Let's all be Pathfinders. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So Veriax, you're a Pathfinder, yeah?
I'm a scout, so I find paths.
That's a good one.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Is that I'm a guy that goes into the wilderness looking for ways, new trade routes, and new places for roads and that kind of thing. Hence me sort of like working alone quite a lot and being a bit of a, I don't need anyone else sort of thing to help me, which will be a flaw. I'm sure there's, something in the flaws that'll let me pick that. But yeah. No, this is going to be like.
So the one thing I haven't quite got in here yet, I've got a list of them. There's personality sort of traits, and we're putting in suggested personality traits for people who need that little bit more guidance on putting their character together. So things like, you know, being a bit of a loner for things like Outlander will be one of the suggested traits that someone could select for their character if they want to, just to help guide new people into building, you know, what their characters are like.
All right, I'm going scribe.
Ooh, I'm
Scribe.
a master in endurance, it looks like.
Training in Aether. So I get another 2 ranks of training in Aether Theory.
Yes. So that should put you at master.
That's kind of what I'm thinking of here. Artistry, apparently.
Yeah. Well, artistry is used for quite a bit of stuff. Artistry is when you're scribing and you're wanting it to look beautiful, beautiful text and stuff.
Like the whole SpongeBob thing where he just spends the entire night writing the.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a hell of a historian, apparently. Which I actually have to read your lore.
Don't worry, you just need to make the roll and I'll let you know. Or you can read the lore to remain very much in character. So this is an interesting one for you, Jack. You've now got access to the rogue skill Decipher Languages.
I've got a few rogue skills. Sorry, sorry, Veriax. I'm stepping on your toes.
I was going to say, I don't think we will cross over very much at all. But...
No. So it means you can now spend a bonus feature to gain training in rogue skills if you want to. It gives you 5 rogue proficiencies that you can spend. Otherwise, the skills never go up. There's not much you can do with them. However, they are useful skills as they are. So.
Right. I'm a master with it.
So once you've, it's pretty much just like the rest. So once you've made a note of what abilities you get, we're coming on to the really interesting part that brings us all together, your class.
Yeah, I think I'm sorted with mine now.
Nearly there.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Just making a note of my earnings and understanding scripts.
Yeah, there is a table at the beginning of equipment which lists all the options and what money you get from them. So if you haven't made a note, you can easily look it up.
Got to remember these boxes in the interactive sheet have scroll bars.
Yes.
Right, I think I'm good to go.
Brilliant. So let's have a look at the first class, which, as we go down the list, is not the Master at Arms. I believe it's going to be the Wilderland Warrior on page 42.
The meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
If I quickly go through this, you can then all jump to your various classes if you want and continue. But your class will have a hit dice up top.
Okay.
At first level, you get that maximum, and you add your Constitution value to that. And then Constitution has no other effect on your hit points going up levels. You only roll your hit dice. With the system we're using, you roll 2d12, pick the highest whenever you gain a level.
Okay.
Saving throw adjustments, pretty much add them to whatever you've got from your race, and that's your saving throw set. They do not improve as you gain levels, short of you spending bonus features on trying to get another point or 2. And then again,
so
just show you. Sorry?
Are my hit points then 12, because it's a d12, plus, was it my Constitution score? So 19?
Yes.
Okay.
And then any other bonuses from your character creation choices. And then you still got bonus features to spend. And there is one in there called Toughness. If you wanted to take it, adds another 8 hit points.
Oh, yeah. I want to be on all of hit points.
You can start with a lot of hit points, but believe me, if you're frontline, you're going to need them. And if you've got damage resistance,
he is our frontline.
Yeah. Okay, So it'll indicate any combat training you've got, fate points. So you've got 1 permanent fate point. If you've got a high wisdom, you can, for every +2 in your wisdom bonus, you get another permanent fate point. When you take a rest, these all come back. But throughout the day, you can decide you're not happy with a test or damage, anything you roll. If you're not happy with it, you spend a fate point and you re-roll the entire test. You can only do it once.
So I've got a 13 in wisdom. So would that mean I have 2?
That wouldn't be it's enough. You need a 14 in wisdom.
Okay, right. Okay.
Another fate point. Okay, but there's other ways of getting fate points, which is there's a bonus feature, karma, and a couple of the background options and character choices. You start at first level, so your stamina is 10, and you add your charisma modifier to that.
Ooh.
And again, that's only added the once.
Oh no, I've got a 10 in charisma.
So your stamina is 10. However, you do note your battle training feature. You gain 2 martial bonus features, and for every martial bonus feature your character has, your maximum stamina increases by 1. So you focus on the martial side of things, and you can get a really good stamina pool, which you're going to need.
So if a player loses stamina, do we break and run?
You can break and run whenever you want, Jack. You don't have to lose stamina to break morale. I mean, the dwarf could insult you, and you could just break and run at that.
Right. So if he was to drop, say he's fighting a couple goblins,
yeah,
and he drops to 0 stamina, the consequence is
you're exhausted. You can't defend yourself. Every time I attack and get a 20 or higher, I'm dealing damage. It's vicious at that point. You've got an ability that creatures don't have, which is recovery. So none of my creatures can use the recovery action. You can. Yeah.
Right. So you basically do a Boromir, where you just can't lift your arms anymore and you get shot.
Well, that's the example I actually used for the system we got. Boromir is reduced to 0 hit points, and every arrow is him attempting a system shock saving throw. And he keeps passing them one after the other.
Right.
Keep passing them, which is him remaining alive and helping to defend the halflings until eventually one of the arrows, he fails his last one and dies. Yeah. Okay, so the other things you get from your class is first level stuff. So 10 stamina, 4 bonus features. And then depending on your class, you'll get a number of combat proficiencies, general proficiencies, and some of you, 2 of you, get rogue proficiency points. Okay. A proficiency point, 1 point is 1 tick on a box. Nice and simple. You can spend them all, or you can save. It's up to you.
Right, I'm going to go off to my invoker.
Yeah.
Here we are. So 8. Let's have a look at this.
Right. If anybody's got any questions, just shout, and I can give you a hand.
Alrighty. Is there a slot for hit die on this sheet?
It'll be under your class box.
Class and level. Spells, subscription, race and class features. Okay.
Yeah, race and class features. Just pop it in there.
The big thing staring me in the face.
What would my hit points be again? 10 plus, because I got D10.
Yeah. And you
are
and what is your constitution? So now if you haven't allocated your attribute, now's a good time. 16, so 16 plus 10. 26. However, didn't you take a settler's option that gives you a +2?
Yes, so I got 28.
Yeah.
Okay, right, just catching up a bit. I couldn't find the scout bit. I was floundering a bit, but I'll catch up.
So where do I find the martial bonus features?
We
It
will
says I
come to
gain
that.
2 martial. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. As we go through, so make a note. You've got 2
Maintenance.
martial bonus features. You get +1 stamina, and you've also got 4 bonus features of your choice.
Okay.
Who went human? Veriax, you've got an additional bonus feature because you're human.
Yay. All right, just a moment. I got projectile. Okay, I'm getting there.
11 stamina.
So I need to give my saving throw adjustments. Oh, spell points is, and then I need to put spell points in above that. Actually, getting ahead of myself.
Okay. So it says you receive a rank of training in projectiles, comma, armor and shields, as if it's one skill, but they're separate, aren't they?
Oh no, they're separate. Have I just forgotten a comma there?
Yeah. It's just, and 2 ranks of training in dodge. Okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just checking I wasn't missing
As
something.
I said, this is pre-edited.
It's cool. Yeah. It's totally cool.
It's okay, but yeah, they're 2 different skills.
Down here, isn't it? Yeah, so I get 21 maximum of them. And I have a maximum of 19 hit points. How did you say I worked out? Is that bad? The 19?
Well, a starting creature could do 2d8 damage on a hit.
Oh no!
With a reroll of 2.
I'll be fine.
So, and you got no damage mitigation really to speak of. So
I have diamond spells.
Well, you could actually have Iron Skin. Now that would be good.
How do you say to work out stamina? Apologies.
So your stamina is 10, and you add your charisma modifier to that.
Yes. So modifiers 15.
It's your first force of personality. It's your willingness to keep going despite the odds against you.
Okay. So it's just 10 plus your charisma modifier. So if it's 1, it's 11. Just
Yeah.
That sounded really obvious. But like,
no, I'd rather you.
Yeah.
You check. Yeah.
So I then get gaze +3, item +4. So that's now +4. Item +8. I can do maths. Contact +2, 4. Breath 1's 4. Spell 4. I've got a 9 spell saving throw.
Yeah, you're very good at resisting spell magic. Or 50-50 chance.
Right. So I see another rank of training in spell, melee, and... Oh, right. No, it's a different thing. Okay, I understand. So where is that? Combat skills. Spell melee. 1 and 1. Receive a rank of training in spellcraft.
So your spell melee and spell range only apply if there is an attack test as part of the spell casting. A lot of summoning spells have attack tests.
I'm apparently a grandmaster of spellcraft.
So it's up to you. Do you want that to be your grandmastered skill, or do you want to save the point and spend elsewhere?
Do I spend the point sort of here and now, or is there a circumstance in which that's...
You can save it. You can save it, spend it whenever you want.
Where would I make a note of saving it?
Just write it into your class and race and class abilities.
I'll leave it in general training then.
Yeah.
And this grand mastery point saved.
Yeah. So effectively, you've got 1 additional general proficiency.
We'll see. I might just go ahead and grand mastery the spellcraft because it would make sense for the kind of character I'm making anyway.
It's your option. I didn't want you forced into a grand mastery you might not want. So
could I put that into like an ether theory and become grandmaster there? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to save that and see how the session 1 goes first. So you say fate points is 1 plus what? Sorry.
So what is your wisdom? It's 1 + 1 for every 2 modifier of your wisdom. There's a nice little table at the top.
I've got a +3.
So you start with an additional fate point.
Nice. Where do put?
So fate points are at the top. Right at the top, to the right. The other right.
What?
Oh, hang on. Your screen's not flipped, so you're probably looking at the right there.
Okay. Fate points. Here we are. Yes, 2.
Yeah.
You're on the right, huh? Spellbook, common robes, belt pouch. That's a point. Is this Vancian style magic? Do I need components and things?
There are components, but only for rare spells, and the component is gem dust.
Nice.
So you do not need components for everything. With infinite spell points,
I'm going to initiate the elvish racism and continually ask the dwarf if he's got any gems.
Yes.
And I always will.
Yeah. So.
Oh, there's the table. I could have scrolled down.
Yeah. So there you go. So you've now got those points to spend, 4 bonus features, 2 combat proficiency points, 6 general proficiencies, and then all your abilities. Most classes are top loaded. So first level, you get the majority of your key features.
So, nope, thought's gone. Never mind. Oh, yes, banned magic.
Yes.
That's where I can't do abjuration, but I can.
Yes, you can't. You cannot add abjuration spells to your spell book.
But I can get them from other sources.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have an item that has a command word that creates an abjuration effect or something like that, you can still use it. It will be less powerful than if you had the spell yourself.
Another question. It says combat proficiencies 2. Does that refer to the melee spell and range spell, or is that?
Yes. So if you look on your character sheet at your combat skills.
Yep.
Yeah, your combat proficiencies are the points you spend on those skills.
So what I mean is, I get 2 ranks. I get a rank of spell melee, and a rank of spell ranged, plus another 2.
Plus another 2. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will take. I think dodge would be a good idea to do.
Dodge is really good. If you get hit, without dodge, you just kind of stand there.
and that gives me a 2d20s, just putting 1 rank in it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. There's not really much point in going for specialized. That's +3 bonus, actually. Okay.
So I've got 5 combat proficiencies, right, with my class.
Yeah.
I've already got a few combat proficiencies that just came with the abilities my class has. So do I just pick 5 and add a rank to the 5 of my chosen?
The points, 1 point will increase a skill by 1 rank. And it's your choice at this point, so you feel free. Bearing in mind, you still got the limit on Grand Mastery, but you have got, what is it? So the bonus features, I think you get to choose 2. Hang on, just heading back up to.
What does stave come under for combat skills?
Spheres. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just checking. I don't think. Yeah, combat focus for you, Brass. Choose 2 combat skills.
Yep.
You gain the bonus feature combat skill focus. So these can be written straight into your bonus features list. Effectively increases the skill by 2, and those skills can then be grand mastered without counting against your limit.
Okay.
So a lot of marshals get combat focus, and it allows them to broaden how much that they can grandmaster. And it's still, the Master at Arms is the only one that can effectively grandmaster in everything. but then that is their big thing.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I can have many spells. Okay.
So, did you say it was a +2 with the combat skill focus?
Yeah. It's combat skill focus. Whatever skill you select, you just add 2 to that skill.
Okay, lovely.
Yep. And then on top of that, you can grandmaster that skill without it counting against you for just those 2 that you select.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah. So this could, for example, be a weapon. You don't need armor as a Wilderland warrior. Hence why I think you've really gone heavily into Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. You'll be what is your Constitution?
19 at the minute.
Oof, one off that magic 20, but that is effectively 8 blunt, slash, and pierce resistance. That's
yeah, that's good. I got that right then.
Really strong. Yeah.
I might go dodge as my other combat proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
You've and probably... then with the 5 proficiencies, 5 combat proficiencies, is that 5 points or 5 separate proficiencies? Okay, 5 points.
5 points, and you can spend all 5 on the same skill, or you can split them as you want.
Okay.
You probably mentioned what bonus features are like several times already, but what are they?
Yeah. Once you're happy with your class and you got it as far as you could take it, so you've added your skills, you don't have to spend your combat proficiencies or general proficiencies yet if you want to look at the bonus features first. But bonus features are effectively they are ways of adding further power and uniqueness to your class. Right, if I just get to the which play. Right, so page 83.
Okay.
And they are split into a number of categories: general, class. So general is just their general bonus features. Class applies to certain classes. So typically you will need a feature of a class to gain one of those. Right. Martial, and then meta magic bonus features. So there is a long list. As I said, it's the sheer amount of options you've got that makes character creation, especially the first time, quite long.
Okay.
But hopefully not boring.
Oh, there. Okay, I got it. Okay.
So Veriax, your scout has access to the sneak bonus features. I believe you get to choose 2 of them.
Oh.
Okay.
So I can break. Okay, I see how I can break the Grand Mastery rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowledgeable.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, all mages get that.
Up. People are gonna be sort of watching this, and it's just gonna like blip from one step to the next. They're not gonna realize the sheer concentration that's going on.
Locked in. I think I'm nearly done with my class.
Right. When creating an invocation scroll, the time is taken reduced by half. When casting an invocation spell, you can ignore your allies within your spell's area from level 1. That's very good. Which I won't accidentally burn the dwarf's beard.
Not unless you want to.
Well, depends on how much the rogue steals from me.
Yeah.
When casting an invocation spell, the spell gains the effect of the empowered meta magic bonus feature. Okay, we'll come to that in a second.
That's fine. The empowered meta magic bonus feature allows you to reroll 3. It adds to your spell damage.
Nice.
So it means you can't roll 1, 2s, and 3s on your spell damage.
That's really strong.
Yeah, your spell magics are. Each of the specialist classes are very strong at what they do. You have the general arcanist, which is really great with meta magics, but doesn't have the focus that each of these specialists have.
So I am the nuclear option.
Yeah.
For when we're in big juju, because of what Veriax has just pulled.
And the good news is, on the 3rd session, when you reach 3rd level, you gain access to Fireball.
Fireball!
Or Lightning Bolt.
Or
both.
So, I do like Lightning Bolt. Number of spells equal to plus... But, okay. So, I receive a rank of training in Spellcraft, which would put me to Grand Mastery.
Yeah.
I will take that, but I will use my knowledgeable to make it not count towards that.
Absolutely.
Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. In those skills, and it will not count towards my limit. So I'll take Spellcraft, and I guess I'll take Aether Theory because I think that's what's next to be Grand Masteried.
Yeah. So that is your 2 free skills, leaves you whatever else you want as your 3rd Grand Mastery.
So level 1, and I'm coming up. I'm coming in swinging.
Yeah.
So general proficiencies is again just 6 points that I can spread across ranks. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So I can. Yeah, I'm a Grand Master of Ether Theory as well.
Yeah.
There's 1. Two, 3, 4. Five. I'm quite the healer. Actually, you know what? Take that away. Have that.
Right, I believe I am done. I think.
Fantastic. Is that your bonus features as well there, Brass?
I haven't done the bonus features yet, just the class stuff at the minute.
Just class? Brilliant.
I think I've got 6 bonus features I can do.
Yes, you have.
Right, I think I am a Grandmaster healer as well.
1 for being human, and I've also got +1 initiative stamina for being human as well. Forget about that.
Yeah.
So I got 12. What does it mean with just a minute? So I've got, because I'm a human, so I get additional bonus, 1 additional bonus feature, and 2 wildcard proficiency points.
So a wildcard proficiency can be spent on either a general or a combat skill.
So I get 2 of them. Cool.
Yeah, so it's your choice. You can split them. You can spend them both on combat or both in general. Up to you. They can't be spent on rogue.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. Whilst you're doing skills, your intelligence modifiers, if positive, gain that many wild card proficiencies.
Oh, okay. So I guess all right. So I get another. So I get 4 altogether. Okay.
Yeah, and you get to spend those as well.
I like how he
There
said,
we go, Jack.
if positive.
You're even more points to spend.
Wait, no, I get that as well?
Yeah, everybody does.
So my intelligence modifier, if positive, so that's 4 then, because I'm a 19.
You get 4 wild cards now you can spend on anything.
Good God. I am a skill monkey.
Yeah.
Mine is not positive.
So you don't get any bonuses.
1, 2, 3. I'm kind of trying to keep it all in terms of like he's a bit of a homebody, so everything that he's a grandmaster of can be done inside.
Mm-hmm.
But I am an expert alchemist, and I'm also an expert herbalist and a grandmaster of healing. So hopefully, we will never die. I do have a kind of an idea, which I may be ripping off from Dragonlance somewhat, but we'll see. I think I will probably send this sheet to you when we're done here, Dean, just so you can make sure I've not
absolutely
anything up.
I'll do the same.
Cheat the once over. What I will also do for you, Jack, is I will put together a PDF with all your spells that you've selected.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So you got them in one place. Just a nice list, alphabetical.
Thank you.
And then if anybody's got specialty kits and stuff like that, I tend to just cut paste out of the rules. So you've got, instead of you leafing through the book, you've got all the stuff you use in front of you. And there's also a nice Marshall sheet. So for you, Brass, I can write in your abilities there that you've chosen. So you've got one place you can look at.
Yeah, that'll be good. So I've got +2 to Dex, and I'm Grandmaster in dodging. So that's a +6, I imagine. So is my dodge just an 8 at the minute?
Your dodge right now is an 8 with 3d20. Pick the highest.
Okay.
Don't worry, you look at bonus features, there's a number that can help you with improving your dodge. And you will note, as you go up the levels, at certain points you get a bonus, I think, to dodge.
Oh, nice.
Rogues get it built in automatically. And I think... Yeah, 6th, 11th, and 16th, you get a bonus point on your dodge skills.
Are we going to be reaching anywhere near that level?
Well, not during the play. Well, the demo. The idea is after each session, you get to level, so you get to experience levels 1 to 3.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Should we survive?
Should you survive? I'll be kind. Whether the world will be kind, however, is...
the dice will roll as they may.
Oh, absolutely.
So an expert rank gets me +4. Okay. Okay. And master is 5. Oh, sorry about the cough. Proficient is 2.
Right. For those of you who are finished with your class, page 83 is the bonus features start. I don't know if you're already beginning to have a look through. There are a lot of bonus features there. The Marshals one start on 87.
87, okay.
Yeah. The meta magic start on 93, if that's your fancy there, Jack.
Righto.
Well, I'm definitely taking high energy. Thank you very much.
I'm still. Oh, uses florins. Look at that.
Yep. So
You're the least high energy person I know, by the way.
Yeah, so I think I've picked my bonus features.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got 5. I got improved initiative.
Nice.
I am stealthy.
That's good.
I am nimble. So that gives me +2 to my dodge skill. So now I'm Grandmaster in that. That's the one Grandmaster I've got.
Yeah.
Peasant.
I know. I've got a lot of masters. I got rogue skill focus in a rogue skill. I forgot where I put that in though. Hiding shadows. To bump me up to master in that. And I got sneak attack, hamstrung. I think I.
Right, on the sneak attack, you start off with just sneak effect, so you get to pick. You get to pick 2 for free as part of your class.
Sorry, okay, that's what you meant, right? Okay,
yeah.
So I get right. So I get 2 of those, and so I can pick another one as well.
You can pick another one, and you got an extra bonus feature then to spend.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have something that could be of use to you, Veriax. So, I, as I have said, am an expert in alchemy and herbalism. There is a bonus feature called Poison Crafter, where I can create various poisons and venoms.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about getting poison application.
So we could synergize nicely there.
Good. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he did say that working together is paramount.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you've got there's full item creation in the system. So you can purchase a poison crafting kit. It is a bit weighty, but it has all the stuff you need to create poison.
I can make the dwarf carry it.
Yeah. And you can either create permanent ones over a period of days, or you can just keep the kit with you. And when you make camp, you might think you need poisons the next day. Quickly knock up a short-term batch. Same with the alchemy and herbalism. So these are great skills to give you that versatility to deal with whatever
Plus,
you're up.
Healing potions?
No healing potions.
No healing potions.
No.
Love it.
However, your herbalism, you've got things like the iron flasks and stuff like that in herbalism. So you've got flasks that will give you resistance to certain damages, and but no healing potions. The closest you've got is a healing kit where you could provide first aid to someone, and you can restore some hit points.
This could be why I speak Jesku. Is because perhaps one of the ways I'm making money on the side is supplying the underworld with various poisons.
Maybe naughty.
Naughty.
Veriax, also don't forget you've got ranged expert as a scout. That means you can grandmaster your projectile skill, and it won't count against your maximum limit.
Okay.
So I could take proficient and just get another 5 proficiency points.
Yes, you could.
Skill monkey builds are very, very... I mean, even saying that, skill monkey builds are possible, but there's a lot of things I just don't know how to do.
Yeah. There's 25 skills, and going full skill monkey, you'll probably cover just over a third of those at a decent level. So
I have a question about dodge expert. Am I going to be wearing specifically medium armor as my class, or am I going to be wearing no armor at all?
I suspect you're going down the no armored route.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so you get all your resistance from your constitution. so you don't need armor. Which one was that? That was the...
It's in the marshals.
Yeah. Dodge expert. Yeah, you don't need that at all.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't wear armor. So if you're wearing medium armor, you suffer a -2 penalty to your dodge skill. And heavy armor,
okay.
-5 penalty.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. But you're not armored, so you're fine.
So, bonus features, general bonus features versus class bonus features.
And then you've got martial.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yes. So it's just the groupings of the bonus features. So if you're looking for something relating to your class or something that's just general, something martial, something, yeah.
What is aura?
So aura is your aura values are equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. Okay. When you find an enchantment, magic item, it requires you have to align your aura with the runes to activate the runes.
Okay.
Otherwise, the enchantment doesn't have power. It's there, but it doesn't work. Your base level enchantments require 2 aura to work. So
it's your
you could
charisma
find
modifier.
Yeah, plus your level is your aura.
So that would be 3.
Yeah. So you could align yourself with 1 enchantment at first level. Second level, you could get 2 enchantments.
Do we get an option to take more of these features as we level?
Yes. So second level and every even level thereafter, second, fourth, etc., you get another bonus feature.
So there is actually relevance to selecting ones that are more powerful earlier on, or more valuable to have from the start, I should say.
Yes. There are some, for example, whirlwind attack. It's a great one, but the likelihood is it's a high cost. You won't use it at first level.
Well, I've got to take Aether Capacitor.
It's only 1 spell point, but it's every spell costs a spell point. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that is incredibly valuable. That's just another spell.
Absolutely. Now you'll notice no one went the druid, the beast druid, but we have full polymorph forms and stuff in the game. Which
see, the funny thing is, I love playing druid, but I never use any of the morphing abilities. Yeah, I always just sort of go support spellcaster.
Well, we've got the elemental druid. That's a pure spellcaster. Or you got the beast druid who does a lot of morphing.
I believe I am done with my bonus features.
You're back.
Yeah. So any interesting martial bonus features there, Brass?
I took Cleave and Great Fortitude.
Yes. Great Fortitude. When you have to use it, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah, it looks good.
Was that the only
and
two?
Also,
yeah.
I think I've only got 2 marshals that I can take. I got 4 generals and plus 2 marshals. So
okay.
I
The
think
bonus features you got, the 4 that you got to begin with, they could be spent on anything, including marshals.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I spent them all on general, but I kind of like the general ones that I took.
Oh.
So I got the +3 stamina, the high energy thing. I got the toughness, improved initiative.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I only took 3. Never mind.
Oh, you got 1 more.
I got 1 more. Let's see what else we can do.
I've already forgotten, but it is 4 features I can take with my class, isn't it?
4 bonus features. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding all this stuff because, like, oh yeah, I also get the finesse combat style because that's a first level thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get to have a, so you can, if you build a strength based rogue, you can elect not to take it. But it's a way of you swap out strength for dex on a number of skills. But you give up the use of heavy weapons, or rather you could, but you're at a greater bane.
No, I'm Dex, so that's cool.
Yeah. It was the
I
most
roll
elegant
that.
way I found of doing the kind of finesse weapon.
Yeah. It works. So when it says, because I just scrolled up and found a bunch of stuff, you receive training in, and can in these skills. So that's exactly one rank.
Yes.
Oh,
If it says you receive training, it's one rank. If
Yeah.
it says you receive 2 ranks of training, it's obviously 2 ranks.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's good, but that doesn't really affect.
I think I should take Cleave. I feel that would be very powerful with this character. It's a shame that I'm one off getting this dodge feature. That's going to be the end of me, isn't it?
Yep.
But if I'm in melee, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Don't plan for failure. Oh, yeah, great fortitude. That sounds like something my guy would do.
I've taken power tear so I can make things bleed.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh,
Bleed
that sounds pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so say the rogue skill says, just so I get the Grandmastery thing right, that you can achieve Grandmastery in these skills. Is that like exceed the amount of skills you can have on Grandmastery in? So
Yes.
Grandmastery in Hiding Shadows and Dodge now.
Yeah. You can't
That's cool.
Grandmaster in any rogue skill unless your class gives you that ability.
Right.
So your class says these rogue skills that you get, this list of rogue skills can be Grandmastered.
Got you.
Yeah, so that's your limit now. But the limit before that was you couldn't Grandmaster in any. So you're now allowed to Grandmaster in that list. So if you want to play a really good rogue with access to skills, you have to be one of the core rogue classes. You can still do it outside, but it's somewhat limited.
What does that mean, that I can be a Grandmaster in the rogue skills, that is in more than one?
Yeah.
And still have a Grandmaster somewhere else?
Yes, because your limits on Grandmastery is 1 general and 1 combat.
Got you.
And now your class allows you to Grandmaster in a load of rogue
All those
skills.
makes sense. It's addition to, that's what
addition.
I thought. Yeah.
I'm going to take a meta magic.
Okay, I think I'm for about the 50th time. I think I've.
So there's a meta magic feature that I can take, which is force knockdown.
Yeah.
Which I think would, for only 3 stamina. I am not a very stamina character. I've only got 12 stamina. But I could open up a fight by trying to knock people down before you two go in and just coup de grace them.
How much stamina have you got, Brass?
How much stamina? 14.
I got 12, yeah. So it's still in the same kind of pool.
Yeah, sort of. What average for...
Yep. Brass, I think you're missing every martial bonus feature you've got increases that by 1.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, and I think you got 3 martial bonus features.
Oh, yeah, 3 now. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
17
He
stamina.
sounds like a kid at Christmas. Oh, yeah! Yeah, boy!
Yeah.
I got 39 HP and 17 stamina. I think I'm all right.
That's good. That's a solid start. And don't forget, you got 8 resistance to blunt, pierce, and slash.
Oh, I do, yeah. I have written that down. That's all right.
Yeah.
And 2 to cold, lightning, and poison.
Yes.
Okay.
So that force knockdown, if you're using something like Aether Missile, absolutely fantastic. Because you get your 2 missiles and you send 1 and 2 to 2 targets. And you force them to be blasted back and onto their asses. So this is an interesting one here you got there, Punish Spell. And this is the magic of the combat system.
Yeah.
Which is you got these triggers that you've appeared, that you've seen here and there. There's a lot of abilities that activate on a trigger. So for example, Punish Spell, if someone dodges or parries one of your allies, you could spend the stamina and cast a spell at them, an attack spell. Okay, it has to be an attack spell, so it's probably not right.
I mean, I am an
your build.
invoker.
Yeah. But there are a lot of these, especially in the martials, where
But it
like
can't be parried or dodged.
yeah.
So if I wanted to make sure something went through,
Yeah, you wait, and when so effectively, you might have brass go sweeping in against an opponent. The opponent easily parries, but in doing so, they leave themselves open for you to exploit that. So you immediately interrupt me and go, "I'm now punishing them with the spell. Spend the stamina.
you know
Make
what?
your attack
I will
roll."
take that. I like the adaptability of it.
Yeah.
So I've got like an opening meta magic, and I've got a an adaptive meta magic.
Yeah.
I've actually got 14 stamina because of the Frontiers.
Yes.
Thing.
Yeah. You got 2 there.
Well, I am planning to play something of a sickly shut-in. So,
all right, Raceland.
Yeah, well, I did say I was ripping off Dragonlance, didn't I?
Well, strangely, elves in Untold Destiny, their pupils are quite dark, almost black, but there are motes of aether that float within.
Mine are hourglass shaped.
Are they?
The motes
Wow,
could possibly form hourglasses.
I thought it was a really original idea. I've got like this really weird complexion as well.
Kind of yellowish.
Yeah, like metallic.
Oh.
Trigger making a dodge test. Okay, that's already I don't need to. Right, so I've got my 4 there. I think the only thing I haven't done is finish doing the maths on my skills, saving throws, etc. But I can get to that in a moment.
Yeah. So is that everybody's bonus features done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so
quickly save a copy of this just so I don't lose it.
yeah, please.
Everyone, quickly download what you've done just so it doesn't go poof after. This has been 2.5 hours of work. This is going to be a lot of editing.
Yeah. You'll find when you get used to the options, when you get used to what you have, character creation can be quite a swift process. But the first time, I
suppose once you've got an idea of what's there and where you want to go,
yeah, it's just a sheer wealth of options you've got. So we're going to skip past all the legend stuff because that really won't come into play. You're now on the final bits, which are things like your gear. So you've got some starting gear. So page 99, Jack.
Right.
You need to roll up your starting wealth.
So I get an extra little bit from this. So I get 1d. That's pen. Yeah. So I get in total. Then I get 3d10. Is that?
Yeah, 3d10, and your class gives you 3d10 on top.
Was I an initiate? I think I was. I don't remember. Oh, scribe.
Scribe, yeah.
Yeah, so I get 3d10 plus 40.
3d10 plus your 3d10 from your class. So
yeah, so what I mean is that's what I say. So cloistered and scribe, 2d10 and 2d10. So that's 4d10.
Yeah, oh yes.
And that times
4d10.
Yeah, times
plus
40 if I was. Plus? Where's the plus coming from?
Your class gives you 3d10.
Right. So that's God, I've completely lost myself now.
Yeah,
4d10 plus 3. 7d10.
Yeah.
So I can roll myself 7d10.
Multiply that by 20, and that's how many pennies you start with.
Wouldn't I have to would it be multiplied by 20 across the board, or each one multiplied by 20? So I can just do 7d10 multiplied by 20.
You can use 7d10 multiplied all by 20.
That's what I've got as well.
So I.
If you do roll damage, or
I know this bit.
Do that.
7d10. So I get 37. Multiply that by 20.
So I've got my background gives me 1d20 times 20.
I'm rich.
I've got my family is 1d10 times 20. My class, I think, was 3d10, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's 4d10 and then a 1d20 times that times
You
20.
shouldn't have got a d20.
Oh, I might have typed it wrong. It's probably a d10.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, they're all d10. So, Jack, that's 740 pennies.
Yep.
Or 7 florins and 2 moons. Yeah.
So 7 florins, 2 moons.
Yeah.
I'll keep it at 740 for now.
Yeah.
23 times 20.
Oh, brass. Not great, but
Sure.
you don't
Listen,
need much.
I'm a wilderness warrior. I don't need money.
No, you
Exactly.
Yeah,
Look at
I
that
don't know
paw
where I
over
got mine
there.
from.
Do you see him?
Still 460 pennies. It's not bad.
Yeah. Right, and then there's a ton of equipment.
Oh, good.
So this is something I don't propose we do on stream.
Righto.
Yeah, spend the time, have a look at how much money you've got, what you can buy. I will draw your attention to things like kits and tools.
Mhm.
Kits are crafting kits that are used to do things like create potions, poisons, stuff like that, including you got the healing kit in there for first aid, treating diseases, and so forth. So have a look at the kits. Tools are things, if you've got, I don't know whether, has anybody got leatherworking or blacksmithing?
Yes,
No.
I've got blacksmithing a bit, I think.
Yeah. With the right tools, the Rockhounder tools, you can use blacksmithing to extract rare ores from either defeated elemental creatures or where you find veins that happen to be protruding from the ground.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so tools are your harvesting. So if you've got leatherworking, you can get your leatherworking tools to effectively, or your skinning tools to skin creatures you kill. And then your weapons, I will draw your attention to the weapons have certain keywords, of which most blades, not all, have the defender keyword. So it's quite unique to the blades, which when you parry with the weapon gives you +2 to your parry. So it's your sort of thrust and parry with blades. Hammers have the smash keyword. So typically they're great at taking out constructs, animated creatures, stuff like that. So different weapons are more potent against certain creatures.
Okay.
So
it'd be a good idea for me to have an axe and a hammer.
Yeah, having multiple types of attacks can be really
primitive.
Good. Yeah.
Well, I'm not got any armor, so it's not going to weigh me down that much.
I think I will probably go through spells during the week rather than recording. I think we're coming to a sort of a natural point to end recording and kind of sort of flesh this out before we do session 1.
Yes.
Which we'll be recording next week. Before we wrap up, though, let's quickly just sort of see where we're at, see what we've made. We'll go Brass, then Veriax, and then we'll end with me. So, Brass, what have you created?
I have created Barrick, the Wilderness Warrior, or the Wilderlands Warrior. He is a wall of hit points and a wall of stamina. He probably won't hit anything because my rolls are notoriously terrible, but he will stand there and he will take damage for as long as necessary. I've also got a bunch of like survivability skills, like that ultimate fortitude or whatever it was called, where I can roll hit points whenever I go down to 0 HP and go back up using stamina. So basically, I plan on not dying.
Yeah.
Veriax?
Hi. I have made Corvus, the Scout. So I'm trying to make him almost like a jack of all trades in terms of survivability and things. So he's very acrobatic, athletic. He's very good at hiding in shadows, moving out of sight. He can apply poisons to things. He can. He's got a bit of beast handling as well, because I mentioned when he's out pathfinding is what he does, and meets like some kind of ferocious beast, he can at least subdue it without coming to blows, which might come for a be a bit more beneficial. But yeah, he's very good at remaining hidden. He's not a people person at all. But he should be handy in a scrap as well with his bow and his ability to dodge and avoid damage. But he's a tough alternative gun as well. And he's a bit of a healer, so he spent a lot of time on his own in the wilderness, so his skills kind of reflect that.
I myself have created Endurian Starstone, a descendant of a creed of diamond folk that has since left the ways of faith and began to delve deeply into the aspects of the ether, and has locked himself away in his room for many, many years, only to emerge blinking, pallid, and sickly, as he has done nothing but read books and mess with herbs for many, many years.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic group. Do you just thinking of session 1 now, do you all know each other, or is that something?
Well, I floated the idea of perhaps my having sold certain poisons to Veriax.
Yeah, sort of vague acquaintances in that kind of way.
But I don't go out, so perhaps
No.
I got the Wanderer over there, the Wandering, to sell me various herbs that he doesn't know what I'm doing with them.
And then I'm buying the poisons
Yeah.
off you.
And
Yes.
perhaps
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
perhaps we meet through our little economic relationship through me.
Yeah, so you know both of us, but Brash and I don't know one another. And by knowing, it's not really knowing; it's like a business relationship, like once a week.
It's like, yeah, I don't know what you're doing with these poisons.
Yeah.
It's for rats.
Well, it will be. It will be for.
Yeah, you're hunting with them. You're using. Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, so it's perfectly above board.
Yeah, I'm not poisoning people with them. It'll be,
You're heroic.
There's a big gargantuan beast there. I'm going to poison some bait and just let it kill itself and then move on, type thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I relish the opportunity to create more alchemical experiments.
Yeah,
It gets me away from the books for a bit.
Okay, so I'm thinking of something very wilderness based rather than dungeon for the sessions.
Yeah, if you could make it in barren terrain, that'd be great.
I'm sorry, are you a 5th edition ranger?
That's my favorite terrain. I think it would work, being raised in this sort of volcanic asphalt type of thing, pretty barren.
Yeah, which is
That's
barren.
what I'm used to. Yeah.
Yeah, and where's the house that you normally dwell in Dorian?
You see, I would have thought I'd still stayed in the southern provinces, but perhaps in the last 6 months I have been forced out of my familial home because I'm not really reading scripture. I'm reading spell books. Maybe there's something that's maybe people are concerned that I am some sort of heretic. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe I am where these two are more likely to be, in like a hut, and I'm miserable, and my books are getting damp, and I could really use someone to talk to about it. Maybe Veriax is like, oh, where's that guy I usually buy stuff from? He's gone up north or wherever it is. I'll go see what's up. That kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay. I think I got some stuff to work with there, so I'll come up with an interesting adventure for the three of you.
Brilliant. Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm hyped. Should we just play now? No, I have to get food done. But no, thank you very much, Dean.
You're welcome.
This was great fun, and you've obviously done this before because that was incredibly well structured. And I'll have to get in touch with you throughout the week to go, Dean, how does the magic work? What am I doing?
Feel free to fire any questions across to me. I'd be happy to send you screen grabs and or talk to you direct. Probably, if there's any questions, Jack, on Wednesday when I pop on a bit early, we can go through.
Yeah,
stuff,
that might be a good idea.
or over the weekend. So yeah, when any questions you've got, have a good look at the gear. Loads of really good stuff there. Otherwise, I think we've got 3 very interesting characters, and I'm looking forward to it. I will make it very wilderness focused, so you can get to use the all the abilities of your
Brilliant.
class.
I will be miserable the whole way.
Yeah, probably.
What do they eat when they can't get elf? Right. Thank you very much for joining us, lads. I appreciate it muchly, and we will see you Monday next week.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
Take care.
Brilliant.
I won't be because I'm working. Remember,
Oh,
doing the
no.
bank holiday. It's bank holiday, isn't it? I'm bloody working that Monday.
Well,
The one Monday I don't normally work Mondays, but they've got me in next week specifically.
Wednesday. Well, we'll figure it out.
Wednesday's fine.
Well, instead of tittle, we'll record this. It's fine.
Yeah, Wednesday's all right. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll
28th.
time to end. Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Good.